How's it going, everyone? This is Daniel, True Savage, representing the Sci-Fi Society and True Savage Gaming. I would like to welcome everyone who is watching to Consensus Crew Video Discussion Volume 6. And joining me, as always, my brothers, D Film Fanatic and Jedi Grand Bell. And we are going to be talking about one of the most controversial films of the 90s, and that is Kids, 1995. My golden era, man. Mine and Deep Film Fanatics' golden era, man. And everyone who is watching, remember, we are the Consensus Crew, and I am True Savage. So, I just, this one had been on a back burner for a while, I've had a lot of, for the past 2 weeks, I've had a lot of, stuff come up and a lot of things to me, know, from out of nowhere. But now, finally came to a consensus and are finally going to talk about 1995 Kids. So, just to get started, I'm going to get to details of this crazy, controversial, hardcore, raw and real film. So, Kids is a 1995 independent coming of age drama, and I will pass it to Dean from Fanatic.
Directed by Derek Hart and also written by Harmony Korine. This is both their debut as a director and a writer. Uh, it grossed a little bit over 20 million in the box office, but it was only budgeted for a million point four.
Ah,
And the cast consists of Daniel. Go ahead.
yeah. So now, uh, it stars Leo Fitzpatrick, Justin Pierce, and Chloe Zavini, and this is all their actual main debut as being in their first debut, film debut, and it's in the film debuts Fitzpatrick, Pierce, Savini, and other newcomers, including Rosario Dawson, and they portray a group of teenager New York City, East Coast. So, and they are characterized as libertines, which, yeah, I already looked that up. It's crazy. I'm not going to go into that, but who engage in sexual acts and recreational substance use and overall course of a single day. And the cast I will read out, and that is, of course, like I mentioned, the first three, the main um, stars of the film: Leo Fitzpatrick as Kelly, Justin Pierce as Casper, Chloe Zavini as Jenny, Sarah Dustin as Ruby, and mostly there's a whole bunch of like newcomers to this film, but the majority of them are all straight kids from New York. And there's also John Abrahams. John Abrahams is also known as an actor, and there's also Harold Hunter, who was actually in the film as Harold, and he actually became a professional skater. He is a pro skater. There's a few of them that became pro skaters and that were already pro skaters. So was Justin Pierce. He was also a skater. He never
Uh,
made it.
that's
Yeah, go ahead.
That's correct. Might I add that Justin Pierce and Harold Hunter were part of the Zoo York
New York.
skate crew, and also I think um, became part of the Supreme team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
professional skaters.
Yep. And Supreme had been around for a while, and even Harold Hunter was skating even back in before the '90s even started. He was on even a cover in I think it was Thrasher magazine in 1989.
Mm.
And the reason why I'm adding, we're adding, me and my brother, Film Fanatic, malicious Film Fanatic, that it's because of the love for the genre. For me, it's more out of the love of skateboarding and thrashing on my end. But me and Deep Fanatic are '90s, we're '90s kids. We grew up in the '90s. It was to me the best era. and nothing like the '90s, man. I'm pretty sure the '80s were great, '70s were great, but um, I'm ever since the past few years, a lot of us become very retro, and that's another reason why I wanted to talk about this film with my two um, guests, because well, they're not guests, we're consensus crew, man. We started this shit. We run this shit since back in 2001. So, but it's for me a period piece, coming of age, like it does say, and because I lived it. Me and D lived it. He was grew up in the '90s, but um I lived for skateboarding, man. I was a skateboarder. I was a skater, greasy hair, long shirts, baggy jeans, ripped up jeans. Like when I saw this film, when I first saw this film, now we'll get to now I'm gonna just get to straight to how we were introduced to this film. And again, welcome, my brothers. We are the consensus crew. Everyone who was watching. So. Uh, I just want to start off with saying that, and you guys already know that I was a product of the culture. I was a huge product of the culture. Skateboarding was a key part of my life. Um, did the hardcore skateboarding, all these nose grinds, kick flips, getting injured. I actually got injured more than actually was a great skateboarder, but uh, and it was also just the love of the culture, man. The baggy jeans, the way of life, the no nonsense, the against the always fighting against the establishment, going against the establishment, and being and I was kind of all of it. I did smoke weed, but I was more of like a petty thief, and did shit and get in fights and did all that, but hang around like wanting to feel accepted. You wanted to feel accepted, and that's how I lived it. It's crazy how I'm talking about it because it's hitting me like in a nostalgic way because I lived that life. It's like anybody can say, "Oh yeah, I loved it." This no, I lived it. Like I lived it. Did Had sex, messed around with girls, freaking did drugs, did stupid shit, got into fights, petty theft, stealing, fucking all that shit. And that's why I resonated with it so much when I first saw it. But it's funny how I did not see it until 2 years later when I was 17 and already a junior in high school. So it's like wow, like it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm surprised I did not see this you know while I was deep in the culture because by the time I was 17, I was already doing sports, wrestling, boxing, all of that. Like I'd already grown out. I guess kind of say I grew out of the phase of being a skateboarder and doing the shit. But it was very it just brought back so many memories, man, of all that stuff, bro, and that's why it resonated with me so much. But now I'm gonna pass it to but like I said, I saw it in '90. I didn't see it till '97, so but it came out in '95, '96 years later. But now I'm gonna pass it to my man D from Fanatic. I know he first was introduced to 1995 Skate.
Yeah, like you said, it came out in 1995, but I didn't see it till later, just like you. I don't know, I don't remember like how many years down the line, but but when I saw it, yeah, very impactful because raw and grittiness of the film, and you kind of, I related to it because the people I hung around with, uh, the, the style, the look, the fashion, the hip hop, the skateboarders, the girls, the guys, the unhinged attitudes, and not giving a F about anything really, like not even about the law, jumping people, fighting people, yeah, all that. Uh, because just like Daniel said, I have to agree, we grew up in that world, you know, uh, especially in that generation. That's what it was all about. It's kind of like, throwing a camera, to our world at that time and just seeing it for its true nature. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, but that's the thing, it's part of your life. It's not your life entirely. You grew up from that as we become adults. I hope. Majority of people
Right.
do, but more and more probably dead or in jail. Um, who knows? But yeah, and we'll get to what I thought think about the film and what the film uh, like the way it impacted me, and how we got like mixed criticism because of the hyper-realism of it. But we'll talk about that later. So I'll pass it on to Jedi. How'd you um, see this film,
I'm
and
waiting
when
for
did you
this.
watch
I'm
it?
waiting
And
for this.
let us know.
Well, I actually knew about this film back in the '90s. I remember when it was released, and I heard much controversy behind it because they were using um, real teenagers in certain roles. Even though some of them were a little older because they could pass for teenagers, that's okay. But some of them were actual teenagers, and I think that's what made it so controversial. But at the same time, you hear how they talk, they walk, what they engaged in, and it's insane. But along the way, I didn't think I would ever see this film because I feel like it's as you mentioned, this was too much, as I like to say, like realism for me because, as I mentioned to Daniel before, I knew individuals like this, and they live that particular lifestyle. They talk that lingo. They talk that kind of kind of stationary kind of way of talking. Like you say, this like bitch, this pussy, all this, that motherfucker. I'm like, oh, they were talking all that. Me being the person that I was, I was more sheltered, even though I would say motherfucker every so often. I would say, but I was more like conservative thinking and talking at that time. So, and then at that time too, I had become a Jehovah's Witness. So I definitely couldn't talk like that at all. I couldn't talk like that at all. So it's like it was off limits. But anyway, when I eventually did see the film, which was recently, I was kind of like saying like, okay, well, how bad could it really be? I'm thinking like, how really like intense or intensified could it really be in terms of what it's talking about? Where it's being said, oh my god, I did not expect the shit that I did see because I'm thinking like myself, like I've seen shit before, but I was like, did he just do this? Did he just? And he's like, did he? I'm like, and like, I'm like, look, and we'll get to it. It's like that one scene where Homeboy does something with a certain item, and I'm just like, the fuck did you just do? Did you just do that shit? It's like, damn, I mean, even though it's not has the certain, it's like, no way did he just do that. So it's like, I'm like, these motherfuckers are like off the damn chain. It's like, no way. But then I realized, like, oh wait a minute, this was the norm for individuals at that time. And like I say, when I look back at my moment in time back in the '80s when I was a teenager, you know, it was just as savage. But I feel that in the '90s, it was even more savage in terms of being a teenager and what you could do with your life. So
No idea, my brother.
yes, and
No
that's what
idea.
exactly. So when I finished watching this, like I was like, I respect you guys a whole lot more because it lets me know it's like y'all seem more down to earth, more, like not consumed, but it's like y'all. And I said before, you guys seem like y'all are more like warriors, and you are warriors, but y'all are living a lifestyle where you had to learn how to survive this shit, and then it's like you going back and forth with all this crap. It's like okay, I get it now, I understand. So
Daniel,
it,
smell my fingers.
go ahead.
Smell my fingers, Daniel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? That's what look.
No, anyway.
Oh,
It's like
butterscotch. I love it.
yes, like see, I didn't want to do that, but when you brought it, it's like, but I'm like,
Butterscotch. Take
you
a whiff. Take a
come
whiff.
on, man, but that's how raw and real, as Dane would say, this movie is. And it's like that's probably why it's so controversial, because not because of what the teenagers who are in there doing, is how they present it. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
NC-17, bro. NC-17 for a reason, man. And like I said, we like when I pitched it to you, I told you guys at the same time, and I said, and then I remember when the film fanatic, I said, oh man, it's like Walter, you ever seen kids? Like, no, I've never seen it, but I heard about it. And then the film fanatic is like, oh Walter, just wait till you see it, bro. Just wait till you see it, man. And trust me, it's it's NC, but it's really just it should be. And me and D talked about this too. It pretty much should have been just like a documentary, but
Yeah,
but
because it seemed like it's shot like that.
yeah, but it still has that savage raw grittiness of the '90s, and a lot of these kids, I will say before we get directly to start talking about the film, a lot of these kids came from broken homes, and not that it was necessarily the parents' fault. It's just that the parents were having to work two jobs, had both had to work if even if the parents stayed together. So, and then here's another thing, man. Here's another thing. Here's another thing. There was no freaking social media back then. There was no freaking cell phones. There was no technology at to the way it is like right now. We can't even compare the technology to modern technology to the '90s, man. And um, I saw did some research on Harmony Kareem's some of his stuff, and he said it out. He said it pretty true, man. Tried and true that kids like us and me and he can attest to this, that since we had no technology, we had to go out and find our entertainment. We had to go out and find our friends. We had to go out and find the girls we wanted to be with or spend time with, or we had to take the bus, or we had to find a ride, or we had to get a ride, or we had to steal our freaking parents' cars, shit like that,
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
had to, yeah,
We had was like payphones back then. Ain't that right,
yeah,
Daniel?
yeah.
Yeah, and also just landlines, man. Like my parents would not know where I'm at until I call them. Uh, at home and like, hey, this is where I'm at. Like, you don't know where your kids are, you know, really.
No,
And usually when I was like younger, like when the street light comes on, that's when you go home. You know,
Hmm.
yeah.
and just to be honest with you, this is before the '80s started. Me and my brother would do this, daily. Coming home from school, especially on the weekend, we would go out, and that was the rule. When the street lights come on, get your ass home. But I know that and this is the only time my mom ever did this. Me and him stayed out past the curfew, past the time, because you got to remember this is a time when things were a little different. This ain't like what it is now. I mean, he's like, if your ass ain't home, somebody's coming at you with a fucking, like a machete or anything, but make sure like you get your ass home. She, like I say, we was on the playground just playing. It's like close to 9 o'clock, and like I say, the playground's like in the neighborhood where we're staying at. Here, my mom comes up to me and say, "Boy, if you don't get your ass home, boy," I'm like, she was like I say, furious, because even though the crime rate at the time was not as bad as it is now, she still say, "Get your ass home. This is not. That's not. Like I say, brought you in this world. Yeah, you go ahead and play, but if you don't bring your ass home, I mean, I'm gonna light your ass up." So it's funny how, as a kid back in the '70s, like I said, newborn and everything, you were doing that. But when I got into the '80s, I don't know why I was more lenient in terms of staying out so late, because I'm like I say, I'm bigger, taller, and everything. But for some reason, I'm more afraid of my mom than I was when I was as a kid, as a child in the '70s, because I feel like that shows right there how much of an influence my mom was on me, because she had to be mom and dad at the same time, you know. But as you mentioned before, we didn't have the luxury of the internet. We didn't have the luxury of cell phones. We didn't have the luxury of what made us who we are. It's like you have to be upfront in close proximity with somebody to discuss something, whatever it might be, whatever the topic might be. We have to be right there with those individuals and discuss these things. You could take this, and, just do this and talk, and it's like, and then that's all it is. It's like, no, the experience is not the same. You have to be upfront and personal in front of someone's face and actually discuss something. Maybe not that close, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's
totally, and that's 100%. I 100% agree because it's like you said, it's the experience, and you have to be totally in front of that person. It's about um, what's that called? Getting that social skills, obtaining those
yes.
social skills, and there's a lack of it nowadays, especially with young kids and adults. But because of what we have, the technology, the cell phones, and that's how they communicate more. But back in the days, like you said, we didn't have that, so you had to do it yourself. You had to grow some huevos. You know, the balls had to drop and just go talk to that girl, talk or confront that person that you have issues with, or whatever it may be, right? Um, Friends, family, your peers. You just talked it out. We're just
And
yeah,
we watched
just
this film too. This is the other thing I have to bring out. We didn't have the luxury. I mean, you had the, like, say, bikes and skateboards and stuff like that, but somebody like me, you walked. You walk from A to B to C to D and everything else because that's your only means of transportation. I mean, true enough, you can take public transportation like the bus or a cab, but
mhm.
to get around, you ass walked.
Hey, Jenna, I know. I walked too, my brother. I did not always have a skateboard. I did not always have a bike. I stole bikes because I didn't want to walk anymore because I didn't have a bike. But yeah, I agree, man. I walked from A to B to Z, man, and that's all I did was walk.
Yeah.
Man, we did have a bus, but because I'm talking about growing up in the military base. But um, yeah, man, I know what you mean. I feel
And
your pain when it comes to walking.
well, it wasn't so much pain, and that's the thing. This thing I've realized now. No, the pain is that I can't walk like I used to back
Yeah,
then. Because I walk. Look, when I was in my teens, my best, both my teens and my 20s, I could walk like 5 or 6 miles without breaking. I mean, true enough, I break a sweat, but it wouldn't fatigue me so much. And these kids here, they are walking like from like Coney Island to whatever in that movie, and like I say, in their teens, it doesn't make a difference. I know that I did that same thing. I would walk to the movie theater, to the store. You know, I've had to actually walk from my house to my school, my high school.
me too. Every day,
Still,
every day, and after school.
and there was no big deal back then because, like I say, I was, the king of my castle doing these kind of things, and it was okay. It's a big difference when you're over 40 or near 60, like myself, and realize, like, oh shit, I took this for granted. I took this for granted of what I did back then. So when you see these kids portraying, I mean, you know, going back and forth with anything, dialogue and everything, it's like it's a norm because they could do that, and they were you, and they were the keys of the castle, and they didn't give a fuck because they didn't let that bother them. But I'm pretty sure these kids who are like in their 40s, probably I know some of them are older than you guys are. I know that the actors are portraying them are older than you,
Yeah.
but I know that they probably don't get around as good as they did back in this film here. I know they don't. So unless you know that interaction with one another is what kept you more grounded and more kind of, in a sense, connected, not with technology, but with just the physical, tangible residence of one another, and know that whatever y'all talk about with the butterscotch, or how things, it's that way of knowing that that's how you explore the world, not by tapping or doing anything or social media. you learn and experience things by actually interacting with one another, which is why we hear the lead character Telly how he says like, "Man, I got to get that pussy and everything." It's like I'm like he
Yeah,
sounds like the typical teenager, but at the same time, he's someone who's exploring his own manifestation of who he is and what he wants.
Mhm.
And that's the thing
yeah,
about it. You go out there and go for it. That's what it's all about when you watch this film.
Yeah, but
yeah,
you gotta understand. But where did this kid learn this from, right? So he must have learned it
hmm,
from somebody, and you learn all this shit from people around you when you go to school,
Yeah.
your peers.
And I could say that because that was the one thing when I was watching this. I mean, like I said with soccer, but I want to point this out. I'm trying to figure like, does he have a father figure around there? And 9 out of 10, usually that's how some boys do these things when they don't have a proper father. They because I know from my late brother, he was a hoe. He was a hoe. He would, like I say, he would mm, everything that breathe, live to breathe. You know, I mean, and I actually asked him, I was like, Morris, that was his name. How many women you been with? It's like I can't count. I can't count them on my hands. I can't remember because it's been so many I've done. You know, and I'm just like, how was you able to do that? But he said I was just, and he, like I say, our father was there with him, but that shows right there that I think he was taking the lead of what our father was because our father was a fucking dog. He was a hoe. You know, even when he was married, he was a fucking hoe. And I realize now, looking back at that, somewhere, as you say, you learn by example. And what this kid in here would tell it, he's learning from his peers, and he just took it upon himself to say, "Well, hey, I know who I am, and I know what I want to do, and I want to fuck."
yeah.
That's pretty much what
I
he
mean,
said. You
I
know.
mean, and not only that, but it's see, and since we're talking about it, it's just like sorry that I was on this, 'cause I was looking for because I still have my pagers. I still have my pagers that I have from the '90s.
Mhm.
So, but I don't know why I didn't think about it right now. I barely thought about it right now, and I thought I had them there, but now I gotta freaking I didn't find them, so now I gotta look for them again. You fucking get old and you forget where you fucking put shit. But anyways, yeah, it's see like the film fanatic was saying, man. Like if I wanted to see a girl, if I wanted to go see a girl, man, or go hang out places, I started going out to like establishments since I was 15, man. So I was already like, when a girl wanted me to see her, you talk when you talk to a girl, you talk to her on the phone, you get her number. It wasn't about, oh, you know what, let me get your Instagram, or oh no, you know what, let me
Right.
get your social media. Like no, no, it was simpler back then, and you ask a girl for your number. You have the courage to go ask a girl for a number. You go to the mall, you go with your friends to the arcade, you find a girl you like, you see them, you catch some looking at you, and you go up to you and you ask them. That wasn't even, you can't even say that's being really brave. That's just the way it was. That's the way
Mhm.
it was back
You
then. Like
spit that game, brother.
yeah,
Yeah.
like you like people say shoot your shot. Like people were we me and D were shooting our shot before the word was even brought up. So it's
Right.
like that word was even created. So it's like and then if you want to go somewhere, take the bus, get a ride. And I wanted to see a girl, dude. I used to take the bus all the time, and I was walking everywhere, just like you guys were mentioning. So I used to walk, bro. I used to walk sometimes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 miles just to get shit, just to get what I wanted, and that's it. But still had to. I was young, so you had the energy. We got tired, yeah, but we would sleep like freaking. We would sleep like babies and stuff at the end of the day. But for some reason, it felt like in the '90s the days lasted longer, and the days were didn't go by so quickly. But it's like I said, it's like you guys have mentioned because I was listening to everything you guys said. I was looking to see if I could find it, but I'll find it some other time. But anyways, man, that's the whole point of it. Like no social media, none of that shit. Like it was all you had to go and yet you wanted to go out, you had to go out. You wanted to go talk to a girl, you had to go talk to a girl. You wanted to hang out with the homies, you already know they're gonna be at the park, they're gonna be at this park, they're gonna go here. Like you call your homies early, you tell them, hey, you know what, I'm gonna
What's
meet
up, my
me,
brother? This
yeah,
is.
meet me at this place, court phone, long ass court phone, meet
Yeah.
me here and here. I'll see you in the evening or I'll see you in the afternoon, whatever. So that's how it was. It wasn't Like a cell phone, everybody had a cell phone. You already know where they're gonna be at. You already know how to find them. You had a GPS. Yeah, no, we had our own. We had maps. We had the bus, and we had freaking. We had paper fucking maps that we had to read and look at, and we had to know which bus to take. And it's just like the subway. Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
Well, what was considered weird was opposite. It's the person that stayed home and that you didn't hear from, the introvert. That was the weird one, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, which is norm now. So
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's different now. Like I said, it's a good point. Like it's different now. Like we're older. Some of the people I know are already married. They grow up. They not only grow up, but you get you move on and you overcome and you get out of the phases. Because really, it is it. I can't say really a phase. It's a culture. Like skateboarding's always been a culture, but like us people, like a lot of people who don't like to or who like to admit that, like me and Walter talked about this yesterday. People, like the majority of the government, and the government and the United States and all that, sometimes even anywhere in the world, society, our type of society is what they want. In other words, us three, we don't follow what society. We don't follow the rules society wants us to follow. I mean, of course, we have to, pay this, pay that, pay rent, do all that normally. But even back then, I've always been a rebel. I've always been a rebel, man. I never wanted to. I never want. I don't follow the establishment. I don't follow like me and D have talked about. We don't follow the masses. We don't follow the masses. And it's not just us. There's plenty of people out there who do not. We do not really follow. We do not follow like the norms of society, and that's why that's how I see myself. And I was always like that. It took me a while to break out of it. Once I got older, it's like I have to realize again, because society wants you to do this. Society wants you to, go to school. You're born, you go to school, go to college, get married, have kids, and then you have to buy a house, get a good job, and what are you doing? You're just giving back to the government. That's all you're doing. You're giving
Isn't it kind of weird? And I got to point this out. Isn't it kind of weird because we did a podcast a while back talking about Fight Club that kind of gives that whole indoctrination of how we're supposed to think like that. We're supposed to like say you're born, you go to school, then you get a job, then you get married, you have kids. It's like, but that seems like that's programming that's been laid down, but it's like is that the norm for you to be doing? I mean, it's like, yeah, if you find a beautiful woman, hopefully you have kids, you gotta realize like sometimes that's not always for everyone's uh, mindset. That's not for everyone's lifestyle. We, like you say, we are the let's say the pilots or the captains of our own destiny. And if you follow that same routine like everyone else is going about, it's like, are you going to be in a good spot in terms of like being pretty much not cracked under the pressure, kind of thinking like I got to be like this, or are you going to be somebody say fuck this, I'm going to defy the things that they say I'm supposed to do and go by your own gut, and that's probably why I used to think, because like I said, you and me was talking. It's like I think that's the reason why I never went into the norm like everyone else, because you feel like if you go with the norm, then it's like, okay, well then okay, I'm normal, or what you call so-called normal, and I'm part of the so-called programming. But then you realize like if you're against establishment, then that's considered a problem. But then it's like, no, that means you are not weak-minded. You have a mind of your own, and you're not allowing this indoctrination bullshit to affect you some kind of way. You are your own person, and you're going to follow your own rules, no matter how it insults or it, mess with somebody's people. Say it's like, why aren't you doing this? Why you think? Because I want to, motherfucker. What you expect me to do? You expect me to follow your rules, follow your landscape in terms of what you want to do? No, I'm me. I'm who I am, and I'm going to do what I want to do. So if you don't like it,
Yeah, yeah, we follow. Yeah, we follow and make our own destiny. We follow our own path, man. We don't follow the beaten path. we make our own. We rather we have to do it from scratch, and that's how I like I said that's how I always did it. I was following that like I told you yesterday before we get to the film, and I did follow that for a while because like pressure and you meet girls that like I met a girl that was seriously about you know, social, not social norms, but she was more about how society and how society wanted her to be. And that's like she was going to college, she was going to graduate, she wants kids. We were together and that's what she wanted. And I was like, I told her like a lot of things you see, a lot of things you follow, I don't follow. It's like I'm still what, I'm gonna be 20 years, I'm gonna be 20 years old and you're telling me that I gotta do something, like I gotta do this, I gotta do that. No, so and then, being pressured, and then I went to college, and that I went to college and got my degree, but I never followed it. So I always followed my own path. After college is what really set my mind to like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna follow my own path. I'm not gonna do what people want me to do. I'm gonna follow my own. I'm gonna build my own path. Even if I have to do it with my own bare hands, I'm gonna do it, and that's what happened. But it's like that's the whole thing. See, and that's a real big point of this film, man. It's again going against the establishment. Like these kids, not only the fact, part of the fact was like I said, they come from broken homes, but they were living the life they wanted to live, and nobody could tell them otherwise. It's kind of like us when we were in the rebellious, when we were on, and when I was in my rebellious stage, shit, nobody could tell me what to do. Nobody. Even when we get to a point where we learn as we get older, but that doesn't mean just because we learn, just because we thought we learned as we got older, still we're able to follow the path that we wanted to follow. And that's how I've always been. I didn't get married, I didn't have kids. I went to college, did a lot of stuff, but I still followed my own path. And that's how everybody should do it. Anybody should want. If anybody who does not want to be indoctrinated, or somebody who doesn't want to follow the norms of society, that's how it is. That's the thing. And then D can tell you the same thing. Me and D have talked about this multiple times. Even in the fact that we're on the video discussion, and he would tell you it's the same thing. What me and Walter say. It's it just what I'm trying to say is that follow your own path, but everybody's gonna do whatever they want. That's another thing that we realized too, that we as we got older, that regardless of how we lived our lives and how directions we wanted to go, everybody's gonna go their own way. Whether they go into what society wants it to be, or they go the path that they want to go. It's always different. We're not trying to put a freaking clinic on make a little clinic on how to live your life, man. 'Cause we've already lived ours. We've already lived our lives. This is the whole point of the film, is what it represents. That in the '90s, how rough it was, how tough it was, and how people went against the establishment. People who were growing up in broken homes, kids who struggled with early drug use and alcohol and all of that. Like that's this this movie has a message too, and that's when HIV was crazy. When HIV occurred was crazy. So that's the whole moral of this movie. So now we're gonna get started on this movie, man. And I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna pass it to D. He's gonna start off all the movie. He's gonna start off the movie, man. And let's just get to it, man. Like this get ready for this movie and how it starts, bro. And oh man, just the way it starts, man. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure D did go and take a nice shower and rinsed off all of that, craziness that we thought was back then when we watched it. It was like,
I fucking,
wow, man, what's really
I
going on?
fucking felt dirty after watching this movie, man. I think I scrubbed myself. I'm like, I can pray, say my Hail Marys. Yeah, it's different. I was just telling Daniel it's different when you're an adult
Yeah,
watching this. But when I was younger and same age as these kids watching this movie, it's quite different, because it's relatable. But when you're an adult watching this, it's like, oh, I don't want to see that shit.
oh, and you know what?
I
I mean,
don't want to
before
see
you
that
start, bro.
shit.
Oh, bro, I mean, let me take up before you start. I looked up. I also looked up this research with Zoe Zavini, and she said the same thing. She said because I saw they did a documentary on Vice about Harmony Karine's career, and and she said like, wow, looking at it after so many years, it's like, wow, it's so different from living it, going through it, and then watching it after so long, and like literally telling yourself, even me, like I told you yesterday too, that even I did felt like, wow, dude, like
For sure, for
just
sure.
just just the opening felt disturbing. Like when now we're old, right? We're older, and we see two freaking kids in the
Yeah,
in that era, in that time capsule, making out like
yeah,
that, and I'm like.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit. But see, yeah, but then I'm pretty sure, like I did, like I told myself, like, wow, that was me. That was me when I was young. Like I was, sloppy, not knowing how to do, not thinking we know what we're doing. We didn't know. I don't know what the fuck I was doing at that age. It took a
Unlike
while.
you, if I didn't get any girls, I was a total dork. I wasn't popular.
Ah,
I mean,
whatever,
so
dude.
stayed home and
Whatever.
I only read the Bible. I'm just a
Yeah, me too, bro. Yeah,
innocent,
me too. Me too,
innocent
man. I
angel
was,
below right
yeah,
here.
bro. I
So
was.
innocent.
Hey, bro, I was always at the, I was going to church a lot. God knows, forgive me, and yeah, bro, I was staying at home all the time, playing my Nintendo. I'm a virgin still. I'm still a virgin to this day. I don't get no play. I don't know how to talk to women. I don't any of that, bro. Me too, man. I'm in the same boat, man. I'm still a virgin. I'm still a virgin, bro, to this day.
Hey, congratulations.
Well, speaking of virgins, well, we in the first scene, we see Leo Fitzgerald, who plays this character Telly, um, making out with his 12-year-old on her bed, and him spitting game at her, trying to get between her legs. Obviously, she's a virgin, and he wants to um, unvirginize her, basically, and
Deflower her. Saying goes.
deep flower her. Thank you, Jedi. Um, and what she does, and just telling her all kinds of false things that you know, that she wants to hear, of course. She's
Yeah.
beautiful. Like, actually, it's not going to hurt, and all this shit. And then you get a realization who Telly really is. You
Hmm.
know, what kind of person he is, and he's not a good person.
Yeah.
And you could say this is our protagonist, if you could say that. But in any movie, there should be a character arc, right? In his case, there's none. It's just straight down the middle, Telly. And we'll elaborate on his character, throughout this podcast. So after that, when he's done deflowering this, innocent young girl, which is only 12, like I said, he meets up downstairs with his best friend, Casper, who's played by Justin Pierce, and you hear their dialogue. It's just raw, you know, how they talk, and it's actually how we used to talk when we were
Yeah.
younger, like just a lot of profanity and just in your face. And I think that's what Larry Clark was going for, directing this movie. That hyperrealism, that shock value. And may I add that Harvey Korine was only 19 when he wrote the script, so it's basically based on his life, or um, not based on his life, but based on people, things that happened around him at that time, at his age, and that's why it was shocking. Uh, so you get them too, um, and Casper asking if yeah. So what happened? Did you unvirginize her? Um, which Shelly, tells him yes, I did. Smell my fingers, all that. You guys want to elaborate on that? This dialogue between these two?
Okay, I'll just take it from here, man. It's basic slang that I talked about what he when I was talking about my homies. Never not totally East Coast because I grew up in here in Texas, but it's about, oh man, it's about sex and how long did it take, how long it took Tully to talk her into it. It was 15 minutes to talk her into it, and then only 30 minutes after to get it done. And yeah, she literally bled all over me. And yeah, it's sure she was a virgin, man, 'cause she didn't fuck like one, and it is that I go back to the disturbing thoughts of, man, she was only 12 for the film. She was only 12, and Tully was already 17 or 16. So it's like that's the disturbing part. But I mean, it's a film, right? It's trying to tell you something. It's telling you something. And Tully is not he's not the brightest. He's not the sharpest tool in the box, and he's not the brightest. So it's like he's a street kid, right? But it's like that's the way it was back then. And then Casper being himself, I think Casper's like, maybe another just one more notch worse than Tully is as far as being crazy. And we'll get to that at the end of the film. But it's like, man, it's constantly talking about, what is it? What she's saying even in the opening is like, man, virgins, I love them.
But
Go ahead.
can I say something about this? This is what makes me think about this when I'm watching this. Like, look at his demeanor. Look at his physique. He looks like the typical skinny white kid. You wouldn't think he looks like basically like a nerd, in my opinion. He looks like a geek. You know, but he's talking so ghetto when he's telling this to Casper and talking how he's talking. It's like, she don't fuck like this. She might. It's like, I'm like, dude, what the fuck is it? Like, you a wigger or something? It's like, damn. It's like this is the proper slang. This is the proper dialogue when you're in the streets, no matter where part of the world you come from in the states. This is how they talk because, as you see in the film, they be around Hispanics, they be around some black people, and eventually those kind of things meld together. Whereas, like, you could say you hear the N word drop a couple of times, and you hear MFs going off left and right and whatever, But I'm looking at him, and this is what throws you off, and thinking like, why? How come he's talking like this? But some people choose not to let what their description of themselves is define them. And with him, it's like, no, I'm going to talk like this because I want to talk like this. I'm talking like this because this is what I'm doing and this is what I do. And that's one thing I got to give it to Telly. It's kind of like what you say, film, like he's the protagonist, if you want to call him that. He's true to himself. He's true to who he is. He's not giving no false information that what he wants, who he is, and what he wants to do. He knows what he wants to be and what he wants to go out in terms of what he wants to do. And it's like that's the thing that makes me realize, like, hey, I gotta give him props for that. I mean, I don't agree with what he does, but at least I can say it's like, well, at least he's being honest with himself and he's being honest with other people. You know,
Well,
Except for the girls he's deflowering, because he's
right?
presenting a whole different tone.
Mhm.
Like he cares. He only cares about
Yes,
he's going
yes,
to deflowering. That's it. Once he gets what he wants, he's out. He's never going to call you. He's never going to talk to you. He's never going to look for you. Because he's off to the next one.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. And yeah. So after that, we get these two. I think Telly asked Casper, you thirsty? You want to get a drink? So they end up going to the liquor store and is it boosting a 40? I forgot what it's
Well, I
called.
think they go to his mom, Tilly's mom's house before they
no,
do
no,
that.
no. They go no first. They go first. They want to plan to go somewhere, but they say, well, let me stop and get this stop and get me
Okay,
a drink
yeah.
first. And then they go to this liquor store, or I think it's
Bodega.
called, yeah, yeah. I think it's just I think it's just a grocery store.
She goes.
And
Okay, that's right. They
yeah,
did.
but
That's
yeah,
right. They went.
they go to a grocery store, and he ends up boosting a
A 40.
40 ounce, but you got Tully who's doing the distraction. So you got this dig, and he's killing this guy who's I guess he was a Korean owner of the. Give me a second, guys. Hold on. Take it from there, D.
If you need it, you can pause
Oh
it.
yeah, yes. So They steal a 40 from that the grocery
Yeah,
store.
because he stuck his yeah, because he did. That's I was gonna say because I'm thinking like that was, but because they need the money they get they use to buy the weed. But yeah, they go to the liquor store, and
And
Casper pretty
Casper,
much yeah he sticks that bottle in his. They say that's my dick, man. You know this is how hung I am. It's like wow, dude, really we're doing this, you know? But yeah, that's right, that's right.
so they steal 40, and then after that they decide to go to their friend Paulie's house, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
even though like you know, I think they talk a little bit of shit about Paulie, but they still go there because he might have some weed, and maybe have
Food,
some food.
food. Yeah,
You know, these frozen burritos that they're talking about. So they go to Paul's house, and Paul, I think he's Hispanic, but he has that New York accent, you know,
yeah,
that we're familiar of, right? And he has a bunch of guys over, and it's like an apartment full of kids, man. Basically, you know, it's like a kid's apartment with a bunch of kids just hanging out, talking shit, talking about girls, and doing whippets, which is nitrous oxide. I think
yeah.
it's a laughing gas, and Casper does one, and man, his lips turn purple.
Hmm.
He's all effed up, and Telly's making fun of him. Look at this kid, man. He's like, yeah, he's gonna kill himself. You know
He
what
was
I
turned
mean?
into a vegetable by the time he's old.
So he's turned into a vegetable, and one of the kids are like on the phone with a movie, just played by Rosario Dawson, and he's all like, "Hey, Telly," and Jenny says hi, and then we get the scene where Ruby's at. They're in a room filled with girls. They're talking shit as well. You know, the boys are talking, saying that, oh man, girls love to suck dick, this and that. And when you shot at the girls, they're the opposite. I hate sucking dick and this and that.
Yeah,
And then we get the version of the girls, you know, how they talk, how they have a conversation, and it's basically about sex. You know, the
and
guys
that's.
are with how many, this and that. But then,
I'm just gonna say, like, there's the aspect. There's the aspect from the teenage boys, and then the aspect from the teenage girls,
right,
and that was a good dynamic. That because they were doing it at the same time. You got the aspect of teenage
yeah,
boys, and you got the aspect of the girls. And the girls were just girls can get just crazy about sex.
yeah,
We're just as crazy about sex and being fingered as anybody would believe. But girls like sex too, and they talk about they got the virginized, and then fortunately Jenny was the last recipient of the
And
sweet
can
talk
I
of Kelly.
yeah, but
So
can I say this? That's the thing that would that tipped me. I mean, it's like just blew my mind. It's like because at that time, especially in the '80s, I wouldn't think girls were that hungry for sex. I think it's always the boys. The boys are always the ones who are like, man, I want to dig deep into that, whatever, I want to do this. And it's like, I'm thinking like, well, it's typical. And then it's like how the girls just letting them loose on them in the first place. But then when you watch that, it's like, shit, these girls are just as bad. They just as hungry as the boys are. It's like they don't give a fuck either.
well, well, Jenna, you gotta understand who the boys having sex with, right?
See, and that's why I say I thought that girls are supposed to be the demurred, innocent, kind of shy. It's like, yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit.
It's all the same, brother. It's all the
Yeah.
same. You know, and going back to what Daniel was saying, yeah, I think Larry Clark did a good contrast of the boys and the girls. You know,
mhm.
that was really great. And yeah, so then we get familiarized with Ruby's character and Jenny, and it shows them going to a clinic. Well, actually, it shows them going to a clinic. Jenny's just going with Ruby to get tested and stuff, and they both get tested, and Ruby, um, uh, we were informed that she's had multiple partners, and unlike Jenny, she has only had one, which is Telly. But she gets tested for HIV and it was tested positive. And she's like, she was distraught because and surprised because she only been with one person. You know, how is this possible? You know, when Ruby's been with multiple people and she didn't test positive and she only's been with one. And that's the ironic part of this. And so through this film, we get Jenny looking for Telly to inform him of you know her positive results. And yeah, after the scene, I think we get Telly and Casper going in the subway to go to his mom's house, and uh, we get to his mom's house. You see his mom breastfeeding his younger brother, little baby brother, and you don't see the father at all in this film. It's probably at work, and that's probably why Tully's like this because the lack of guidance, the lack of uh, the father figure in his life. You know, he's always out in the streets. Mom's very lenient. You know, comes home at like she says, comes home at 4 a.m. in the morning, um, and and you see Kelly's household, you know, and how it is, and it's very relaxed, and the way he's stealing money. I think it's from the mom. I don't know if it's from the mom or the father. Do you guys
It's
know?
no, it's from the mom. I think it's either from the mom or the dad, but it
I
depends
think
on
it's
how you look at
I think it's a dad. It's the dad because like mom, I mean, is obviously she works. But she just had a kid and she's breastfeeding and freaking Casper is going freaking nuts just staring at it.
it. And can I add
And
to this? I mean, I brought this up before because I said, as you brought up, it's like we see Telly's whole mental state in terms of how he projects himself, how he acts, how he just randomly runs through girls back and forth, and everything. And we have to look at this from this particular point of view. Yes, you can have look. It works both ways in terms of you can not have a male role model in your life when you're a teenager, and you'll still go stir crazy all over the place. You'd be like Wile E. Coyote. You just go all over the place, chasing everything, every tail, whatever. But since he has a father in his life, it still works the same in terms of he didn't have one because that lets you know that his father is not really a positive role model. Because let's be honest, I said before, like I say, take an example from me. That's one thing I can say. I take some movies and kind of relate them to my own lifestyle, my own point of view of what I've seen in my life. I've seen how he runs all over the place like a damn wind-up toy. But that's the fact of the matter that was his father the same damn way. Does his father talk to him saying like, and it's true enough. It's like a father will tell if you have sex, wear a condom. Do this, be responsible. We don't see him using responsibility. We don't see him using power. We just see him talk to the girl with the kindness, with the softness and everything, and do the job. If a man was really there, a responsible man was there, father figure, he would not be doing what he's doing. He would not have that mindset. Yeah, he would still kind of talk, the street talk like he does, but he would be more responsible. And we can tell. For me, just me personally, I can tell that this father is not is he works, but he ain't shit. He's just telling his son like, well, I'm going to do whatever I'm doing, and the son is actually following his lead, which is why I said before, my father, thank God I didn't do it. He would always ask me, did you ever get something? Did you ever get a woman? It's like, no, Dad. I mean, I'm not following your lead. I know your oldest son is because he was on the track of doing everything that you was doing because you led by example and he did his thing by doing the same thing my father did. So I feel, I mean, if you can see it, you can tell, but not for me, that's how I see it. I could tell that Telly, his father, wasn't a good role model. If he was a good role model, he wouldn't be the way he was doing. Now, true enough, he might still like steal some money, stick some money out of there to play. Like, but as far as in an actual physical nature with other women and doing that, he would be more responsible. But he's not. He is like I say, he's like a fucking tornado. He's gonna go through everything, you know.
Yeah,
And this is why I say, yeah, we see him in a calm, cool, environment. The house, and he's kind of high. He's spraying himself, all that. But I feel that his father was not a good man. He was not a good father figure. I
yeah,
believe that. I feel that because I can tell the way he's acting and the way he treats women like he does. Just treat them like random, like walking on a carpet. Like say, I walk on them and I'm done. That's how I look at it. That's how I
I
feel like
mean,
that's what it is.
it's not, it's I mean that I think that could, but I mean it's hard. It's kind of hard to look at it since I just think it's an absentee father, and they made that's how they posted it. But you have a point. I mean, it could be that way, But I mean, like sometimes sometimes parents have to work. Both parents have to work, so they didn't have a chance to raise their kids properly or
uh,
do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
given
true.
that's what Jordan is leaning towards. He because of the lack of um, him not being there, lack of being present makes him uh, a not good father. You know what I mean? And the time given, when he's there, you know, uh, there should be some guidance.
Yeah,
But, um,
Yeah.
but this, who's to say, right? It's possibly true, and that overall, this is how Terry is, right? And if the father's not there, then the mom should, you know, take the reins and do something,
yeah.
right? Hey, Terry, you shouldn't be being out at 4 a.m. Go ahead.
Oh, but there
Go
was
ahead.
one thing. Remember, she said, remember that. I remember that his mom said, "Well, you know what? Say, hey, mom, you have any money you can lend me?" He's like, actually, your dad said not to give you any money until you get a job.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's
She
see.
did,
So
yeah, she did.
yeah,
But
yeah, see, so,
so some moms should be more on him. Like, hey,
yeah, Harlem,
uh,
yeah,
I want to see some evidence of you applying for these jobs. I want you.
yeah,
I want
application,
to see that every day. I want to see like you apply for 5 jobs. You know. Here you
bring
go.
copy, bring an extra copy. Bring if you go
Yeah.
upstairs, bring an extra copy of the application whatever you went to. Bring an extra copy of the
Good.
application.
Exactly. Remember, you're the parent. These are your kids. You love your kids. You care about them. Be a parent.
Yeah,
That's what you're supposed to do.
Um,
and
That's the way they do it.
yeah, and then we get to a point. Now we get to that point where after he steals while he's stealing, I guess his father's money. Then we have Casper using the freaking what is it, a tampon
It
or
was a tampon. It was a
a
fucking
tampon?
tampon, dude.
Yeah,
This shit, dude. No, look, no, no. Let me take this one. Let me take this one. I'm sorry. This shit got
Ooh,
me livid, man. This shit like blew my motherfucking mind. I'm sorry if I'm cussing too much. That's I shouldn't be doing that. But man, I ain't never seen nobody do this shit before. And then true enough, when he takes it's like, what is this? It's like he knows what it is, but he sticks it in this, like say, I guess
too
juice and
late,
everything,
too late.
Kool-Aid, and it immediately sucks it up on there, and then he just, I'm like,
This
what
is the way I
the
like my women. This is the way I like my women. And he's like, heavy
heavy.
flow, heavy flow.
fuck, dude? I'm like, the fuck, dude. Look,
My
I've
women
seen
got
many.
mad flavor.
I've seen many films where they just push the envelope with certain things. This shit was like I was not expecting that. That shit was like no fucking. I mean, I'm like no man. I'm like the fuck, and he just blithely doing it. It's just like I like the flow and like I'm like this. Oh, wow.
Well, 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 his women got mad flavor.
Well, apparently he loves that flavor because he sure is. He dipped it in there, and that's the crazy thing. That thing soaked that thing up like a fucking
That's
Uber
that's
sponge.
that's the idea, brother. That's the idea. And, he,
That,
and it was funny.
His
funny
boss.
too.
Yeah.
Funny too is he says to Telly, have you ever taken any of these out? Have you ever pulled any of these out with your mouth? I was like, ooh, I was like, see, well, you see, I knew there was gonna be shit in this that was gonna freaking blow your mind, bro. Because I know you've seen a lot of fucking movies and probably a lot more like, let's just say, gratuitous stuff. But the reason why it's probably affecting you so not affecting, but the reason why it got you kind of livid was
Got that
because
erection,
it
yeah.
it looked so real and it was natural. Like this is the shit that kids. I mean, I'm pretty sure some kids did it in the late '80s and stuff like that, but it just nobody ever showed it, or there was no movie that did that. But
Yeah.
it's like, that was the time. Those were the times, bro. When like we just talked about, no guidance. Um, Parents being too busy. This is the product of street
Of the
kids, bro.
time.
This is street kid shit, bro. Like me and you grew up in the ghetto, and like I said, we didn't grow up in New York. I mean, but I'm saying like, but it's different. It's just so different that seeing him, use the tampon or whatever, or the Kotex, whatever it was, and then freaking and then we have Tully, stealing money for not just himself, but also for Casper. And Casper's like, okay, well, you know what? Here's 10 for you, 15 for me. He's like, oh, you cheap fucking bastard. And then Tully's like, well, I'm supporting your ass. He's like, yeah, thank you.
So you
So
go right there.
yeah, and this is the part where they leave his house, they leave Tully's house, and then they get dressed or whatever. Fucking Casper doesn't even put deodorant on or nothing, bro. So now they're headed to Score. What I mean by Score is they're heading to Score to go get some go to. They're gonna go to one of the parks where all the homies hang out. I forgot what park it was. I don't know. Maybe Steve might
I
know.
was gonna say, I mean, I'm familiar with
Yeah,
that.
they said I forgot what park it was. Like maybe Lincoln Park or something. Or I'm not Lincoln Park or something like that. But they go and they're gonna score first. They go to one park, and after that, they go to the main park where all the skateboarders, all the homies, all the
Yes.
crew, and all the clique is going. So they're going there. They head there, and they score the weed, and then they go hang out with all the crew. And then this is where even the director, I forgot the name of the director.
Larry Clark.
Yeah, Larry Clark. This is one of the best shots scenes of the film where he literally said in the small documentary, in the Vice documentary, that this is what I wanted. This is what I really wanted because this is real. All of that was going on, bro. All of that was going on in the park. All the people, all the friends, all the people just being around in that park. That was real. Like
Yeah.
that's what they did on the daily, when they're hanging out, because there wasn't much to do back then. Like in the '90s, just hang out, skate, hang out
Yeah.
with the homies, and chill, smoke weed, drink fucking alcohol, drink 40s, and this is where they go and you find out like the way Ham was the black guy with the hair with the dreads.
Hmm.
You saw him make a Philly blunt. That's how you make a Philly blunt,
Ah,
and and that's him making a Philly blunt, and you see how he's literally, the camera's right there looking at how he literally does it.
does
Like,
it? Yeah.
yeah, that is real, bro. It does not get more raw or real than that. And that's one of the craziest. That was one of the craziest, um, like craziest scenes also, but also reality. It's like documentary and film. It's like half a documentary, half a film. So
Because remember, I said to you
I,
guys, like I said, I
I
knew.
uh,
Um,
to change my tampon. Sorry.
it's
okay,
all good, man. It's all
it's
good.
all good. No, but as I say, no, but as I told you guys that, like I say, I didn't do the things that they were doing in there, but I knew some individuals like this. So when they're, like I say, out there on the, on the spot, just talking, just rapping one another, back and forth lingo and everything. It's like, what's up, man? What's fucking and all that? It's like I knew people like this, and I knew, like I say, I've met them, I've talked to them before, but usually I don't do the whole. I mean, it's kind of weird. This is what's so weird about this. As much as I've been around people with the lingo and talking, the ghetto, the street, or everything like that, it's kind of funny because, like I say, I grew up in the ghetto, grew up in the hood. it's kind of funny how even now I don't talk in that kind of dialect. I talk with the so-called proper enunciation of things and all that stuff and everything of myself. It doesn't mean I can't talk like that, but it's like, why is it that I'm not talking like the individuals like that I've been around and everything, But it lets you know that that's their mentality because that's how they live. That's how they do things when they're around one another, and I feel like that's probably why that interaction keeps them kind of balanced. And like you say, it's more real because I think a lot of these people were just not side character. When they want to say side character, side actors, I think they were real individuals that they got off the street, to be culminated in this scene and just talk like they do, because it's that kind of interaction, But like I say, with me, I just never knew that that's how raw it was, But speaking of knowing that that's how they talk, it shows me how comfortable, as I like to say, maybe that's not the best
Yeah.
word to use, how comfortable they are knowing that they can be themselves and I don't have to be, like trying to soft spoken myself to be to fit in. If I was there, yes, I would have been able to, talk the way they're talking, and continue because I've been around people a lot talking like that. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, it was like, okay, you cannot, just conform to being just like that because that's not you. I feel for them, that's them. That's them, and that's how they live their life, and that's how they want to be portrayed like that. In
Yeah.
my mind, that's how I look at it.
But
Oh
well,
yeah.
Jedi,
Yeah.
you're not performing. That's what you are, who you are. That's why they converse with each other that way because that's who they are. That's who they are in that world. That's their character. You know, and that's how they were brought up. Like let's say a person growing up in New York, right? Like in New Jersey, they don't like Telly, Leo Fitzgerald. He grew up in Jersey, and most of the cast are from New York. Like
Yeah.
they like hassle him because he's from New Jersey. He's kind of outcasted in a way, you know,
Right.
just because of where he's from, not even the way he talks. They all talk the same. He's a skateboarder, or as well. But being from where he is, they kind of they pick on him because I don't know, it's just because of the location of where they grew up, and you get that when people grow up in certain areas too. Is the way you talk. Like I get it because like you could speak in a certain way like that have that ghetto accent and mannerism, and not grow up in the hood. That's weird to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right? Like, and look at Eminem. You know,
Hmm.
like people, oh, he talks black, but he's white. But it's where he grew up. You know,
Yep.
it's how the people around that area speak, right?
Yeah.
And you question why you don't talk that way. Well, Jedi, because you're not ghetto. You know, right? You're not ghetto. Just
Yeah.
because you live there, you don't have to be ghetto. You're well educated. Your mom raised you well. Is your mom ghetto? Does she speak to you that way? No.
No.
Yeah.
That's why you talk that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's true because like even like me, I never like even me that's in a point before we get to the introduction of Harold Hunter. Um, it's true. Like we didn't talk like that here in Texas. We didn't talk like that. There were a few very few black people in my school. My school was
Yeah.
about pretty much 80% Latino Hispanic and maybe 20% white. So it's like so maybe one black person here and there, but it's rare. But like we still had our own ways of talking, but we we literally like we would have to tone it down. Like I would have to tone it down in front of my family when I go get together. Like I never talk the way I talk to my friends with my family because my mom and dad slap the shit. They slap my teeth out. They're not my teeth out. So that's why, like like he was saying, it's true. We have to tone it down, and I'm pretty sure they toned it down too. They also had to tone it down when it came to their family at one point. But when they're in New York is a totally different monster, though. New York is a totally different monster
Oh
when it
yeah.
comes to the ghetto and to being a street kid. So, and now, we have the introduction of Harold Hunter, and Harold is not he comes in mid close to halfway, but he comes in, makes his presence known, and it's also because the director knew a lot of these youngsters before he thought about making this film with Harmony. So he would go and scope out this park. Did you know? Do you remember the name of the park?
I don't, but I did know that Larry Clark like hung out with these kids, like you said
Yeah,
before, filming it, and it's kind of weird. They're probably like, "Oh, who's this like 60-year-old or 50-year-old hanging around with all these kids?" But
Hmm.
basically, just trying to get the feel, of, of their environment. But, no,
yeah,
I don't remember the part.
it's all good. I know. I forgot what it was, but yeah, it's a park they all hung out with. I just told uh I just told Jedi when you were gone that they just that's what a Philly blunt was. That's how you roll a Philly blunt. That's how you make it that. And that's
Yeah,
what Ham is the one that makes it. And then we have introduction of Harold, and Harold's one of the main ones. Not people knew him because a lot of these extras that were in this film were actually all friends. They were majority of all friends who knew each other. So, and that's the realistic feel. That's why people like me who were a part of that culture resonated with it so much because that's how it was when we hung out with our friends. But also, it's the fact that Harold gets introduced and then they're supposed to like they smoke that Philly blunt really pretty damn quick, and they lick it. They pass it around, bro. It's like back then they passed it around like nothing, bro. They didn't care about germs, they didn't care about none of that, no
Right.
COVID, none of that shit. Like now how do you hardly ever see anybody doing that now? You hardly ever see anybody doing that.
yeah. That dime bag that they got, and while he was like putting in the blunt, man,
Uh-huh.
that shit looked real, man.
Hmm.
It was real.
That's what the Dane was saying. That was a real
It was real.
Yeah,
roll blunt. You
They
know.
just they just cracked open a freaking a cigar, and then
yeah.
they scored the real weed. They scored the
I,
real.
I wanted to stick my hand inside the movie and like, let me see if that shit's real. Yes,
Right.
yeah,
And I'm
That's
trying. I'm,
yeah,
I'm trying
right.
to. I'm trying to think because this film came out the same time as came out the same year as Friday. We see that moment where Smokey and Craig, are smoking I mean, blunt, and like you say, they just casually because even Craig said, "Let the motherfucker all up." He's like, "It's my shit," So it's that moment where it's like you don't care about the germ, you don't care about it's like as long as you get the effect of what you're smoking, that's what it
yeah,
is. You know.
yeah.
Yeah, I
One
mean,
of my when he used to roll up the blunt, man, because it's so nasty. You're looking at it and stuff, it's all your saliva. He used the water. He got a cup of water. He did it like properly, because he didn't want to lick it all over that shit and he smoke it. Like
Yeah.
he put water, he lick this shit up, man. Um, and also, what was popular in those days was a spliff. Spliff is like mixing the tobacco, the cigar, and the weed together and smoking it. You get a different high. But anyways,
yeah. I
enough of my addiction. So
no, but I mean, but it's see, like me, even with me, like I said, occasionally I'll light up if somebody has it because of my condition, fibromyalgia, but I don't do it regularly. I no longer do it regularly. So but it's like
I
I
do this.
And I will ask this. I will ask this real quick. I mean, I'm not trying to put you guys on blast, but who here has not smoked a blunt in their life? Okay, well, see, there you go. Because I have. You
Good.
know.
you have smoked a blunt. No, I've smoked more than one, bro.
Well, I have too.
No,
That's what I'm saying. That's why. See, see. This is the whole point I'm saying. It's like just because I may not be together, don't mean having be an
oh
effect.
my God, Walt, how
Yes,
dare you? That's what we're screaming, bro.
I look. I look.
Screaming.
Look. Even I was, exposed to certain aspects of ghetto fabulous life. So it's like, hey, and I
Hey,
don't
bro.
mind saying that I
You
smoke.
can't say it like this. Well, even I have smoked a blunt in my
Yes,
day.
exactly. I've smoked it very well, and I've
Oh, yeah.
triggered a couple of.
I've always
Yes,
It was
flavor blunts. It's
yes.
not
it was rather flavorful.
flavor. The grape is my favorite.
quite an
La di
ex-
la di da di da.
quite a
La di
unique
da.
experience for myself. Let's
Mm. It leaves a little taste in my lip.
Yeah, so it's like, but I mean, it's true, man. Like it's you know, it's not something that I don't prefer it anymore because I just, 'cause it does. I don't like the after effects of it. I mean, I like the after effects where it affects my muscles and everything. I just don't like the feeling of being paid. You know, it just
Right.
Mm.
doesn't do anything for me because
I
it
used to love it.
I mean, it's like I said, but but I mean, also pertaining to the movie, also was the fact that like this is their daily, bro, and they smoke it so much that they know they're gonna get high, but their body builds up a small tolerance to it that
Yeah.
they don't get put to the point where they can actually still be functional, like they can still be functional, and like they're smoking weed, but they're still freaking skateboarding, they're partying, they're hanging out, whatever, and then they freaking getting back to the film, they actually beat the shit out of this one guy that Casper accidentally runs into. And even Casper's, hey man, my bad. This dude, it's like this dude was looking for it. So they all beat the shit out of him. One fuck with one, the whole freaking beehive comes after you, bro. All the walkers
Yeah.
come out, and
That's a good description of it too.
and this is the thing. I've been through it twice. Bro. I've been through that twice. I've gotten jumped by multiple people that quickly. So
But
it's
it's
not
like you
fun.
say, it's like a hornet's nest when
Yeah,
one jumps on, then all the rest of them come because they come like running and they come and like beat the shit like curb stomp his ass. I'm like, damn,
yeah.
dude.
It's just me though. I'm swinging though. I'm swinging at everybody. I don't care. I don't care if it's how many guys hitting me, dude. I've had 2x4s hit over me. I've had freaking foreign objects, dude. I'm still swinging at everybody. I don't care. I splayed out a few people too, but it's just you don't know where it's coming from. You don't know where they're coming from. And I got hit. I got
I
hit
don't know.
from
I got knocked the F out all
Yeah,
the
I got hit
time.
from behind. I got hit from behind once, and I didn't get knocked out, but I fell. I was like, oh shit. So I mean, I understand that from a personal stream, but it's not fun. But dude gets fucking beat the shit out, and they don't even know. And then they're talking about, oh fuck, you think you kill that guy? You think you kill that guy? And he's, I don't think so, man. Man, he was still breathing. He was still breathing and twitching and shit. Like that doesn't mean he's gonna fuck. That doesn't mean he's okay. Like we were talking about, and then poor guy gets the shit beat out of him, and then this is where Jenny's still looking for Tully, and she takes a cab, and the cab guy kind of like senses that she's in distress and she's worried and she doesn't want to talk about it, but he's being nice, and it's like it shows me that even back then, like there was still some good people, even though they don't have that that appearance of being a good person, that they're deep down they're a good person. You're like they're trying to cheer you up, they're trying to get
Yeah,
trying to cheer you up, make you feel better, and I think it's totally changed. I mean, there's still people like that, which is good, but it's just so like you can't really tell anymore.
it's
And
very
she,
rare nowadays because you
yeah,
got to remember the sound. See, that's a good point you're bringing up. It's like there was more and more kind of a moral quarrel with some people in terms of like they can see if someone is feeling bad. It's like, hey, life is not so bad, because she even asked like what something is not so good, not saying he's telling her it's like, hey, it could be a lot worse and everything. I think this comes back to first circle of what we said before. Social media has kind of destroyed that aspect. I mean, not everything, because there are some, like you say, there are some people who still have that gravitas to say, if I see a person and maybe it's not none of my business, but if I see them and they feel like there's something wrong, maybe I can cheer them up a little bit. Social media has pretty much just like made that whole situation crumble because not a lot of people give a damn about other people's feelings. It's almost like it's the me kind of standard right there. It's like whatever I got going on, it's like I ain't worried about this other person, And it's like you can't give enough to say, hey, is there something I can do? I mean, I know I can't bring you happiness. I know I can't, bring you this what you're trying to look for, but maybe I can cheer you up a little bit, I mean, maybe that'll help a little bit, but I feel like that's the problem with society today. They are more to themselves and not caring about the other person. And that's sad in many ways because, like I say, back then we didn't have all these things. We had more of an interaction where it's like if you're right there in the room with that person, you interact with that person. And even though they may not want to, talk, it's like, I'm here, I can say something and maybe it'll put a light in your light, something like that.
Yeah, and it's see, and that's true, and it's like that's why it was so simpler back then, man. It was so like you can even for kids that went through a lot of shit and bullied and all that stuff, they had somewhere to go. They had
Mm-hmm.
somewhere to feel like an escape, whether it's their home, whether it's video games, whether it's books, studying. Like people who had they had escapes and they weren't followed because they were on a social media platform.
Yeah.
They weren't because before we get back to the films, I don't, like I said, I don't want to go over 3 hours. The thing is, um, they now when you have social media, bro, there's so you can't hide anymore.
That's
Like
it.
you can't hide. Like they won't find you. They won't look for you at your house. They'll look for you on your freaking profile. They'll look for
Yeah,
you on
they'll
Facebook.
literally go to where you're at. It's like I say, if I'm looking for this dude, I'm gonna go. If we got some beef, I'm going to you that way. I'm gonna confront you with this. I'm not gonna
Yep.
confront you online. It's like, no, I'm not doing that.
And you won't. And even if you're even if you're not on there and you're doing your thing, enjoying your life, enjoying your day, you're staying away from social media. When you want to go back and look it up, you're gonna have if you're being bullied by multiple people, you're gonna have a whole bunch of freaking you're gonna have a whole freaking like maybe 30, 40 freaking messages or freaking or comments and all this shit just giving you so much like so much cyberbullying that
Yeah,
it's like it was easier back then to just face it was easier to face freaking the bullies like I did, like the way I did. I faced them fucking head on, dude. And but now you can't. Like now, even if you don't need, even if you don't have to face them, you still have to, you don't you have to either delete your accounts, delete your freaking profiles, delete all that shit, and they're still gonna find you somewhere. So it's like that's the horror of the cyberbullying, man. But now, anyways, like I said, moving on. Now they had to talk with the cab driver. Now she ends up at the park, and she ends up at the park. She's following Tully. She ends up at the park, but everybody's gone, and she bumps into a really a cool Latina girl. Saying, hey girl, what you up to? This and that. Looking at Tully. Oh, they were just here, but actually they're gonna go swimming. So they decided to go swimming. They're gonna go swimming. They're gonna go freaking, fucking raid or not raid, but they're gonna fucking break into a pool, right, where they can go and swim and all that stuff, right?
yeah.
And then there's a place called NASA, which is also it's a rave club. They had rave clubs even back then. And they go to this. They first they pick up Darcy though. They're gonna pick up Darcy. They pick up the girl that Polly wants to court next. Wants to be Flower and
Mm-hmm.
talk to her. She's a Latina girl. She's really cute and everything like that. So even the girls, it's funny. Even the friends that are with Kelly say, "Man, you like them young, don't you? Like pretty much fucking babies." And then they just give them shit for it. And then they go pick her up. She
I
says, "Yeah,
like
I'll go
him.
ahead."
I like him you, not like you.
Yeah,
Exactly
right.
right, right. So they go pick her up, and then and they walking, dude. A lot of walking, bro. Lots of walking. That's why a
Yeah,
lot of these kids are so slim. Because
yeah,
they have to get from one place to another, and and some even have to some like Foley in the beginning, Foley and freaking Casper had to freaking they didn't even have to fucking 50 cents if we can get to get the toll for the toll for the freaking subway. So it's like, and then they're walking, drinking fucking 40s and fucking, and I guess what do you call it, Saint Eyes and all kinds of
Yeah.
liquor, bro, and that's the way of the, that was the way of the world, of the way of the, that's the way it was in '95 in New York. So they go pick up Darcy and then they go to the school, right? And freaking they're all showing off, and then freaking Harold and Casper going crazy because two of the girls that were there, I forgot their names, man. It wasn't very specific in the casting notes on the Wikipedia, but it was two girls, and they're taking their clothes off, just the underwear and the bra and everything. They're gonna go into the pool, whatever. And freaking mom, and then Casper was like, "Wow, you really don't appreciate a woman's body until you see her taking her clothes off." And then freaking Harold, dude, he's a character, bro. Harold is a freaking character, man. He's like, yep, yep, yep. There you go, right? Yeah,
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 right.
yeah,
Yo,
yeah, yeah.
you, I,
Hey, Jedi, Jedi. Shh.
dude. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
I gotta give the film props because the sound effect was very on point. I was like, yep, hmm that's okay. He's making it
I'll
known.
show you
That's
next time when you come to SD.
yeah.
right, right.
I'm
There
like,
you
oh
go.
my! I was like, well, look, look. At least they're fun, free, and having fun. So that's like, yeah, that's yeah.
And with that being, that was a really funny part, but I was laughing my ass off, though. And he even goes down in the freaking in the handstand position, in the freaking push-up position. He's like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude,
Nah,
that's New York
bro.
slang, bro. That's New York slang. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the cool shit. That's the New York flow, man.
Yeah.
And that's why I was such a big fan of. I love the East. I love the West Coast, but I was a big fan of East Coast. I prefer East Coast over. I prefer East Coast hip hop over West Coast. But I love them both. But
But
it's
I
like,
think I think you got a point though. I think the East Coast uh, slang is a little bit more harder. I don't know why. I mean, yeah, it's Cal. Look, the West Side, it's got its own feel and vibe and whatever. But I feel the East Coast is. I think because that's where it really originated, and that's probably
yeah,
why it's so raw with its intentions. Because be honest, I mean, because you've been to California. I think when I say California, you've been to parts of California where they kind of talk like that. But seems like the East Coast is like they are like it is like you try to cut that shit with like a diamond cutter. That's how fucking raw they are. So it's like
yeah, and
it
yeah,
is.
yeah. Hip hop originated in
And
the
yeah,
Bronx. I mean, in the Bronx. It originated in New York. But like West Coast created their own sound of hip hop, which is gangster rap.
Yeah,
And but then you have other hip hop artists in the West Coast that wanted to take a little bit of the East Coast feel, like Side, and there's a few others, and even Ice Cube. Ice Cube is a huge fan of I mean, Ice Cube and Ice Cube were huge fans of the Wu Tang Clan.
yeah.
So it's like,
Who is who is
yeah,
right?
yeah, but after the whole thing with what happened with Pop and Biggie, bro, that it lost the beef. But
Yeah. Well, being
so
from the West, then I love the West. Being from the West, that never stopped me loving the East.
yeah,
East Coast music, b-boarding, hip hop. Yeah,
and
yeah,
isn't it kind of sad knowing that the
man
West
favorite.
Coast beef, West Coast East Coast beef even started because it's like why would y'all? Because y'all all in the same game and y'all fighting one another. I don't understand that.
it's just, I mean, it's also it was also the media, bro. The media. It's
Well, and
also
it was. Here's a question now. I ask you two. You think it was more territorial in that sense too? Why that was
uh
going? Yeah.
no, I mean, it could have been, but it's, remember, the media. the media ate that shit up and was
Hmm.
really also what they were the
Yeah.
ones that provoked it. You know, the media was also it
You
basically
know
was it.
what sports is drama, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly. Yeah,
media, like what Daniel said, the media had a big hand in it. Yeah,
yeah,
they probably had their disagreements, but who doesn't, right?
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's differences. There's differences in anywhere, man. But I was surprised by the love of
And
you know
people,
sharing the love. Yeah, sharing the love of East Coast and West Coast, and you know they quit the beef and all that. I mean, yeah, there was still rappers that went after each other that were East Coast or West Coast, but like now it's now we can't even we can't even say anything about it now, man. Which is why I'm gonna close the chapter on that subject because this new type of so-called hip hop is fucking garbage, bro. It's fucking trash.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
That's why I won't. That's why like fuck. Actually, I stick to the old school and I stick to the nostalgia, bro. Now you'll never hear me listen to this new shit. None of it.
well, can I say too, like, wasn't Pac originating from the East Coast?
No, no. Pac was Pac was. I think he was born in. He was born in I think in California, but he moved and lived in New York for a while.
Yeah, he went to school in New York, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because he knew Biggie. He knew Biggie.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also like remember Mob Deep? Remember Prodigy from Mob Deep?
Yeah,
Prodigy from Mobb Deep lived in. He was from Queensbridge, but he lived in. He actually moved to California for a year or two. He was younger, so it's like it's weird, man. It's a weird dynamic, But anyways, guys, moving on. Now we're at the pool. Harold's flapping his dick around, trying to show off in front of the girls and everything. So all the girls, everybody jumps in the pool, and freaking Casper can't stop looking at one girl's, boobies and all this stuff. And then
Yeah.
he
All
said,
that good stuff.
I dare you guys to make out. This is when they still say dare. Like, who says dare anymore? Okay, who
I
says
don't know.
actual dare? So Casper says, "Oh no!" Harold says, "I dare you two girls to make out." So they make out, and then while that's happening, freaking Cody's trying to hit on and spit the game to Darcy, and Darcy's like, "Yeah, little 13-year-old girl who's very oblivious, very what's it called? What's that word called? Not oblivious, but very naive and stuff like that." So
the
um,
innocent.
innocent and naive, yeah, innocent. And they're talking, doing their thing, and then they decide, okay, well, fuck NASA, man. NASA's like, Ray, we can do that anytime, Ray, the club gets boring. Let's go
Yeah.
hit up Paul's house. Let's go hit up Paul's house. He's having a party. All right. So Jenny's still in tow, man. Following, I don't know how many cabs she took to follow these motherfuckers, bro, but she took a fuckload of them. But while that's going on, she ends up going to that rave club and then bumps into um, Harmony Green's character, and I forgot what his name. I forgot what his
And
fucking
it,
name is.
he plays fidget.
Yeah, there you go. And you see a lot of crazy shit in that rave club, bro. And it's mostly, it's like we'll talk about it toward the end when we're almost finishing up. But I mean, but yeah, it's crazy how the rave club is showing a bunch of crazy stuff, bro. And this is all like what you see at a rave club in New York. And she gets there, he gives her something. I don't know. There's probably ecstasy. I don't know what the
Yeah,
fuck it was. It was probably ecstasy. And then, cause I taken ecstasy, bro, and that shit is fucking wild, bro. That shit is wild. But she takes it. She's there waiting at the club to see if they show up. And then they don't show up. And then she talks to a friend, and she hears that, oh yeah, Pearlie and the guys are going to Paul's house.
uh,
They're having a party. Huh? Was
Steve's
it?
house.
Oh, Steve's
Steve,
house. My bad.
Oh,
Never mind.
Steve.
I almost said Paul.
you're good.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh well, fuck. So now she's leaving, all fucking, all freaking, she's all freaking, what's that word called? What do you call it when you're freaking when you're on ecstasy? You're rolling. She's all
You're
rolling
right.
hard. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
rolling. She's rolling hard. And now they're at the party. They end up, and then they walk in, and then we have the young kids. We have the young guy from what was his name? Paul's house. Was it Paul's house in the beginning?
yeah, yeah.
My bad. I was thinking, yeah, Paul's house.
Javier, I think his name is the little
Yeah,
kid.
his name is Javier Nunez, and he's actually a skateboarder. He's still around.
Oh, is he really? Oh,
Yeah, he's still
okay.
around. He's still
I never
around,
knew.
and he was a young guy, bro. He's a young guy, and he's
Yeah,
throwing shit. Everybody's making out. Everybody's fucking drinking.
drinking. Yeah.
yeah, fidgeting, all that shit, making out, and then
But there's a moment here in this moment when they're in the scene. Correct me if I'm wrong, but are those tweens or because they don't look like teenagers? They look like they look like they're less than 10 or look like 12 years old. These boys are sitting on the couch smoking. I'm like, are y'all fucking kidding me with this? I
Yeah,
mean,
I thought the same thing, man. These kids are too young. They're like,
they're
y'all
yeah,
look
young.
like y'all still
They're
sucking
like
on your mama's
13.
titty.
They're like 14. They're like 14 or 15.
yeah,
Oh my good
these freaking
lord!
kids. When I saw them, I'm like, these kids should be like at home playing with Ninja Turtle toys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
And dude, and
smoke.
you see, and I mean, when we go through the whole party, like we even see that other guy. I forgot his name. What was his name? He was the white guy that that was, he talks slang. He talks New York slang just with the black dude. And he's talking to the other girl, Gertie. Hey, Gertie, I love you, Gertie. Let me take you out to dinner, Gertie. I'll buy
Oh
you
yeah, I
I'll buy
buy.
you I'll buy you some corn dogs. They say, get your cracker ass out of my face. And it's
Like Sexy Savage. Gertie, I think I love you.
yeah, yeah.
This is love.
yeah. And you notice that even Harold is trying to hit on all these girls, and none of these girls are giving him, bro. And he's like trying, bro. He even gets to one girl and he starts humping her head, bro.
Good lord, you know.
and
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you have the four youngsters that are. Were you gonna say something, bro?
No, I was just saying. I was just agreeing with you. I'm like, they're a bunch of animals, man.
Yeah, I've been to parties like that, bro. I've been to those dudes. I've been to. I mean, not as. I mean, somewhat kind of same, but just it's a different vibe from New York and shit. So it's like and you had a lot of bullshit between the friends too. There was a lot of people that were being fun of people. And I was one of those that trying to make fun of me. I was like, "Oh, bro, I'm gonna get that guy." But yeah, but like then we have the four guys, the four little youngsters smoking. They smoking weed, bro. They make it look like they're like adults, bro. They make it look so natural. And
Yeah, I
even
feel like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, even Javier, like because I saw the Vice, I saw the Vice documentary. He was there and he's still around. He's around. I think he's like 40 now, but he's around. But he said, yeah, man. He said, dude. He said, okay, I want you guys to smoke weed. Like, he said, all right. Well, they were smoking weed 2 or 3 years before that movie even came out. So
Same.
so the way they did it, they made it look so natural. It was so natural because it was so
Yeah.
natural to them. It was so natural, and they made it look like shit. I didn't even smoke. I don't even smoke weed like that. It's like I don't even smoke like that. Like I got the vape, and I got the vape pen, and I got the freaking what do you call it? I got the pipe. So it's like fuck that shit. I don't even do it like that. But it's raw and it's real, dude. It's real in its most purest form, bro. Street life, street kids doing street shit. Like it's and then we get to the point where it's they're making out, Sully and Darcy are making out, and everybody's partying and they're partying. It's probably close to like 12 or 1 already, and or Ben is still following these motherfuckers, and they're Casper's partying, drinking. He's in the their hands already throwing up. Freaking Casper's already freaking drunk in the tub. He's fucking like, yeah, Casper, the friendly ghost. Now, like he's already singing. Everybody's already fucked up, dude. And how do I know that? Because I know we've been through that. Me
You've
and
been
D have
through
been
it.
through.
Yeah.
How many times have I got drunk in somebody's club? How many times have I got drunk and crashed on somebody's fucking couch? How many times have I thrown up in the fucking toilet? I can't even tell you, bro. I cannot even tell you.
Okay, then I'm gonna ask you this: that one scene where homeboy, what's his name, just pissing in the toilet, but homeboy's sitting right there on the fucking edge of the damn toilet while the other boy is in the tub.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
have you gone that close to doing something like that?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, dude. We've had friends. I've had friends. We pissed. We there's only one restroom and there's a bunch of people. So me and my buddies, maybe being a buddy, just pissing in the same freaking. He's on one side, I'm on one side, pissing in the same toilet. We have to. I told him, motherfucker, I'm not gonna wait for you, bro. I gotta piss right now. Go piss next to each other, fucking sword fight. Nice gonna do a sword fight and shit. But all that kinds of shit, dude. Like girls, I've had girls like like while I'm taking a piss, like while I'm taking a piss and I'm leaving, taking a piss, right? There's a girl that walks in, a girl I guess that I was banging at the time. She said, wait. She tells me to wait for her while she's taking a piss. While she's pissing there, I'm waiting, saying, hurry up, girl. Wait. So she does it right in front of me and freaking takes the panties and all this stuff and all that shit, dude. All of that. Like you could probably play the same shit, bro. It's like all that kind of craziness, bro. I've done it all, man. I've done all kinds of crazy shit. We've had girls. I've gone into a girl's bathroom where I had to leave, and I had to do that. I've done that where girls are freaking, passed out and all drunk and fucking piss their pants and all this shit. Like, yeah, dude, like all that kind of stuff. Right here, I've been, like, I went to a place called Juarez, Mexico, bro. There was a place called Juarez, just like Tijuana in San Diego, where you go if you're too young. If I was too young, I was 16 and I couldn't drink at the clubs here because I went to the same clubs when I was young. I would always go to Juarez, and it's like TJ over there. You want to, the young people want to party, they just go to TJ because they didn't have they didn't have a drinking age. So you can be as young as you want and drink however. You're supposed to be 18, but they don't give a shit in Mexico as long as you're paying. And that's the way it was for me when I was younger. But yeah, but let me give it off. Let me hand it off to now that Darcy and Darcy and and Kelly talked. So I'm gonna hand it to Detox Fanatics for that one, man.
Go ahead,
They're,
Jedi. Take it.
they're already talking. They're already talking. Or
Go
I
ahead,
want to give it to
Jedi.
Jedi. Jedi wants to take it.
Yeah. Oh
Look,
yeah. Oh good.
Tully,
Go ahead,
look,
Jedi.
Tully's already on his second. And when I say second in the film, he's already working with this other girl, trying to get into, get flowering her. And while that's going on, what's the name of the one who's got the HIV positive?
Jen.
Jim. She's at the place, in the same place, but somebody is literally trying to violate her. I mean, maybe that's not the best way to say it, but it was funny is while this is going on, it's like a what you call a juxtaposition of different things. Tully's working on this one girl, doing what he's supposed to be doing, and at the same time, when this is going on, we're hearing this reverberation about the guy they curb stomped earlier that day, because this is all taking place in like a day, less than a day, really. And that keeps coming up, but that never gets resolved. It's just hearsay. I guess because that's what you want to see. It's like it's hearsay, and that's what you want to hear. Homegirl is literally getting violated by someone, and I'm guessing the guy doesn't really give a damn because she's kind of distraught. But he starts taking her clothes off, taking the pants off, and then they start, and when I say him, I'm talking about him, not her. He starts just doing her right there on the couch, while as Telly, well, he's working his magic, as you say, and he's pretty much, going slowly, urging her, all these things, and eventually, well, they start like it's like, and I'm thinking to myself, is there going to be some kind of what you call not coincidence, some kind of recollection that he gets something happen to him? It's like there's no what you call rhyme or reason of going on with this. It's like what happens, and I'm trying to remember what was there something else that happens in between that. If I can't, like I
No,
said,
no. It's actually it was Tully. It was Tully and Darcy that they do it first, and then it's towards the end where Casper starts to Casper decides to
Yeah. Can I add something to that?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Like just going off what you were saying, Daniel. Yeah. Telly, gives powers Darcy, and while they're doing it, Jenny runs in inside the room and sees, you
Yeah,
know,
that's
what's
awful.
happening, and kind of sees like, yeah, that was me. That was me a year ago. You know, um, at that state, that what Telly's doing. For her, she's distraught. I guess she was angry, sad, all those miserable feelings that she didn't get to save Darcy, um, and just ran out the room. Uh, and That's when she like just heads to the couch, and like I think the ecstasy hits her a lot more, and she falls asleep, and she's kind of like she can't, she has no ability to has control over her body, and that's why she couldn't get up when Casper was, you know, um, violating her, like you said, um, doing a hard R on her,
Yeah.
you know, and yeah, after that happens, I think the following day, Casper like wakes up. Obviously, well, the camera pans to the whole apartment. You see the aftermath
Yeah, that's
of the party. Everybody's, sleeping, done, exhausted from the night before. Um, and You see Casper wakes up. He's like, "What happened?" He doesn't even remember what he did. You know what I mean? And that's what's crazy. So, how they spread that virus around, and we could talk about that.
well. See,
Well,
this is what I was going to say because, like I said, I knew it was something else, but I can't remember exactly what. But when we see the, like I say, intentional coming up the end of it, we see Tully already done the deed and everything, and we hear a voiceover where he pretty much says, you know, that's what I live to do. I live to fuck. I love this. I love. I was like, and it's like there's no kind of like there's no kind of like, what you mentioned before, some kind of arc with this dude. There is
mhm.
no arc. He has no arc. All he is about, like I say, sticking and quitting and be done with it and moving on to the next one. Like Jay Z, on to the next one, on to the next. It's like that's his whole mo. And I'm just like this dude, like, and it kind of makes you wonder in the back of your mind, at least for me, what are you going to be like when you get older in terms of adult life? You're going to be the same kind of condescending, don't give a fuck about who you stick it with and who you might violate or you might not so much impregnate, but give him some kind of STD. And that's the thing. And that's the thing. It's like his character is so like that, and it's sad to know that that's the so-called consequence. It is like he has no consequence. The film leaves you with the fact that no, this is the life that these kids live, and some of them don't really worry about that, and it's kind of it's scary. But again, this is why I say the reality of what we see. This and that moment when we realize like, damn, this has no kind of ending of terms of like him getting some kind of you know rebuking of what he done. But it's like no, nothing like that. And that's crazy to me. But at the same time, you realize that that's exactly why I feel like this is why it was pretty shown because he's just telling you, yeah, he's doing what he's doing, but he don't give a shit because he don't give a shit. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it's like it's true. I mean, it's not very. I mean, his character is not fully fleshed out, but I think that was the point. I think that was the point of of the film, the director, and it's pretty much not just. I mean, what I did think about it too is that it wasn't just about Tully. Tully was the main character, what was the main focus, but to me, it was about just also about everyone else, especially Casper at towards the end, you know, where I want to mention the fact that he doesn't remember what happened. I'm gonna go out for a piece of it, and He pretty much did. It's like, dude, when I rewatched that part, dude, he's literally raping her. But he's
Yeah.
raping her. Like that is violation. Like I told myself, like when I was younger, I'm like, he's fucked up, he's fucked up. We probably thought to ourselves, it's not so bad. But now that I'm older and I saw it, like, yeah, that's rape. To me, that's rape. Because she didn't consent. She was knocked out. She was on edge. She was knocked
Yes.
out. And him being, well, he was super fucked up, but that's still not an excuse. When he woke up and didn't remember, even if he didn't remember, that's still fucking rape.
No,
So so that's why, that's probably the only bad part. That was the part that bugged me the most. About
because like I say, that's in that moment. Like I say, that's the moment. Like I say, your youth. You don't think about the long term. But that's what makes me think when I watched that moment. And it's like it comes to a abrupt end. You realize like there's no resolution with that. He's still this piece of. If you really want to say, he's this piece of shit. He's a true piece of shit. That and some people are like, dude, he's just a kid. He's just like, you really want to say that that's what he is? He's a kid, but he's somebody who's living this life, which will project maybe into, like I say, his adulthood. And who knows, maybe 20, 50 years down the line, he'll still be this kind of condescending asshole. You know, just doesn't give a damn about women. He just, when I say don't give a damn, he's like, I want to sleep with him, stick him, and be done with it. But it's like that's all it is. That's all it is to you. It's like it's as someone would say in the Fight Club, it's like it's sports fucking. That's what it is.
yeah,
And
and
it's scary that that's what it boils down to. And I hate the fact that that is what it is. But like I say, yeah, you say you're older, you're more wiser. You feel like maybe he would learn something from it, but it's like he doesn't learn a damn thing.
but remember though, for his actions, he got the ultimate fucking payback, and that was HIV.
Yeah,
So yeah, and she told him, don't do it. She said, stop. She said, stop, don't, please don't. She said, please don't.
yeah,
And she maybe in that point in time, she probably won't didn't remember either. But I'm pretty sure if a girl gets violated and they don't remember having sex and they feel it, they're like, hey, what the fuck happened? Somebody raped me. That's how a lot of that's how buddies think date rape shit. Girls guys think they can get away with date rape when they drug them, but then the girls still realize, hey, what happened? Somebody, I still feel it. And then if they're dumb enough, you can leave their DNA behind. That's another way to find them. But
yeah.
I think for me is her retribution. If you could call it retribution, because she probably didn't even realize that she was all fucked up, was the fact that she caught HIV. So, regardless of the fact that rather, he is a piece of shit. I agree, he is a piece of shit. But that was the character he was supposed to portray, in my opinion. I think that was the character he was supposed to portray. But he got his just due, bro. I mean, he got HIV. So, and the fact that the moral of the story was mostly about HIV and trying to practice safe sex. I think it was the whole film, and but not just Sully, but what a lot of the other kids did, like how they lived,
Yeah.
is what was the main moral of the story. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like
here's a
like
question before you go any further. Do you really think there's a moral in the, I mean, maybe it is, but I mean, maybe that's for the viewer to see if there's a moral to all that
I think, just in my opinion, it mostly talks about how kids lived in the era of the '90s
in that era.
and HIV. I think that like HIV was the main to me the main reason film's top like subject was HIV, but everybody's different. It could be about how the kids lived and how another. There's so many messages, bro. Don't drink and don't do drugs early. Don't drink and don't drink alcohol at an early age. Practice safe sex, and try to stay in full. Maybe one of those are also. But it doesn't. It hardly said anything about staying in full. If you notice, it hadn't said anything
Right.
about it.
Because I'm wondering,
So
is that more of a cautionary? If this film is more of a cautionary
yeah,
tale, just
yeah. It's more to me. Like I said, me and D can agree on it. To me, it seemed more like a documentary than a film. Yeah. But like D, what do you think?
I think you know, Harmony Korine and Larry Clark was their intention is just to show uh, these street kids, in that era, uh, with with the HIV, was heavy in the '90s, so they incorporated that in the story and kind of made an awareness uh, to the kids, um, you know, just to be careful. I think there's two sides to the coin. You see how bad these kids are, street kids and what they do, and also you have good kids, which you're not going to show because that's on film because that's boring, right? And what people want is drama and it's hyperrealism and just in your face shock value, and that's why this movie got so much attention from both sides. And I think they did, they reached their goal, and that's why they made so much money. And yeah, to put that out there, the awareness, how these kids are, how they lived, how they talked, what they did, you know, when it comes to drugs and their sexual acts, and, and living and just based on New York. And I think in any location you live in, you have kids just like this,
Yeah,
and you
yeah. I
could be
mean,
one, and just yeah, go ahead.
no, no, you're right, man. No, no, that was a thank you for that input, man. And it's true. It's like going back. It's like going back to what we lived, how we lived in that time. It's it's when we go back to that term again. Before we start wrapping up that me and you lived that era, bro. We were a part of that era and that genre and that the '90s, and it was what it was at the time, man. And now when we rewatched it, when I rewatched it, there were so many things where I didn't remember about the film, and I was like, a lot of the stuff that we thought, a lot of stuff that we resonated with when we saw it the first time, we were like, we were fine with it. We didn't wipe it under, we didn't sweep it under the rug. We just kind of like, okay, that's the way it was. But now we watching it being adults, it's like, shit, dude, it's like rape, fucking rape, assault, assaulting that fucking guy. He deserved it probably, but they beat the shit out, maybe killed him, maybe made him permanently disabled or disfigured. You know, alcohol, what alcohol, drugs, and ecstasy can all lead to, what it can all lead to if you continue to do it at a young age, and sex, like trying to practice safe sex, because HIV was bad when it was really coming out, man. And now I hear that it's not complete cure, they're not complete cures, but now they have ways to treat HIV.
mm-hmm.
So it's now that we think about it now, bro, we're like, shit, dude, like, yeah, like we were a part of that. We were a part of that era. You know what I'm saying? And that's
And
why
amazing y'all survived it too. That's the other thing.
yeah, like, yeah, don't get me wrong, dude. Like, I'll say this, like, I was even in my late 20s, bro. I was still bad, bro. I didn't like protected sex. I caught a freaking STD, before. It's not fun, and I did not care even in my 20s. So it took that long for me to understand to start wearing my rubbers, but it's still it's still like, see, and I'm a product of not listening because I never liked using them even in the '90s. But there were times I had to because the girl that I was with told me that if I don't, I'm not getting nothing. So that's her. I'm glad that some of the girls that I was with were, in their right mind, that they were able to do that. They were able to, okay, you know what? I really care about you. I like you. Like, okay, fine. I didn't like using it. but I had to because I didn't want to disrespect people. But it's still things that I learned. Things that I learned that that I thought about. I didn't think about none of that when I watched it. Honest,
I mean,
I
why would
mean,
like I say why look you like I say you both were youth. You always like to say why would you think that? I mean, I know for myself, I wasn't thinking about certain things when I was a teenager. I wasn't thinking that stuff. I didn't think that stuff because I didn't think long term. But I feel that that's the thing with experience and life generating stuff that comes along and certain things that enters your course of mind of what you experience helps you along the way. Because I'll put it like this, and this is how I look at it too. This is how I interpret it. We may not, depending who watches this, this is your belief, whatever. But I feel we all have a guardian angel watching over us, and like a guardian angel, they know that they can't interfere in terms of like you're going to do whatever you're going to do. We all been given free will, but along the way, something inside of you starts to say like, okay, something about this doesn't seem right, or something maybe I need to do, or I need to kind of change a course or something like that. And somehow, there along the way, that angel is telling you, it's like, okay, now it's time for you. You see this. Now it's time for you to pivot away from that thinking and know that you see things in a different way of projection. So it's like it's kind of gratifying knowing that when we see the character of Tully, you know, he probably did have a guardian, but he didn't. He just like, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do, regardless. And whether or not you as an individual do those things just because you can and don't learn something from it, that's horrific. Because some people do that. They just like do whatever and don't think about what comes next. But thankfully, YouTube, I'm glad of this because YouTube are on the straight and narrow. And even though, like I say, you went through all those things, it shows that it doesn't define you. It doesn't define who you are. It defines you knowing that I'm better for it, knowing that maybe it was a good thing I did go through it. I'm talking about YouTube, gone through it, but it lets me know like I can tell others now. Try to learn from knowing that don't be like that. I mean, even if you do, but it's kind of like later on, try to look back and realize like that wasn't a good thing, you know. And it's something that I feel like as adults, we try to teach the younger generation, although they ain't gonna listen to it because they're on their own path, they're on their own wavelength of whatever they want to believe in, whatever they want to do. It's striving to make sure that the future looks a little better instead of a lot of bleakness. I'll be honest with you, I'm looking at a lot of bleakness at this point in time, but then again, actions speak louder than words, so that's why I say that. But who knows? That's just how I look at it. That's how I interpret it, and that's how I put it out there.
no, thank you, bro. I mean, I appreciate that, man, and I'm pretty sure Dean appreciates it also. And yeah, man, and another thing about it too is that not only what you just said is thank you for that. It's great. It's also great intel, but um, there's also, I don't know, I'm pretty sure Walter doesn't know, but the actor that played Casper died.
Yes, I did know
Yeah,
that. I looked that up
yeah,
and found out he passed
yeah,
away.
and also the character that played Harold also died.
I was kind of like, whoa, they died kind of. That's like, whoa, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they one of they both had mental health issues, and Harold Harold died later, but Justin Pierce died. I think 5 years after he made Friday the second, or the Friday second Friday movie.
What the
And
Friday Night Lights or something
no,
like
no, no,
that?
Friday. He was in Friday. He was in
Oh,
the
he's in
Friday.
Friday. Oh, he's in Friday.
Not
Okay.
not in the Friday. Not in the first one with Chris Tucker and
The
Ice
second one.
Rose. Yeah, the second one.
Okay.
Yeah, he's with Michael Epps, the one with Michael Epps. David.
Ah, okay. That okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, they played co-workers. I think it's what is it? A CD store? I don't remember.
I
He
think
plays
so.
Roach, character named Roach.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, so they and Harold died. He still stayed in New York, but he was a prestigious. He was part of New York and still made money by being a professional skater. But it's they I when I did do a bit of digging, and it was they say it said that he just couldn't get out of New York. He couldn't get out of the lifestyle. Um, he tried a few times to quit clean and stuff like that, but he um he loved skateboarding, but he also loved partying. And it was he eventually died of a cocaine induced heart attack. And yeah, and Zoe Zadini and Leo Fitzgerald, that said, man, like those guys were like, even Zoe Zadini said that, she said Harold, she knew Harold, she knew them both, but she didn't know them really good, but the way she saw them in the film and the way they portrayed these, she said they were sweet guys, sweet kids, sweet people. But like they were a part of that life. They were that life. Like that was their lifestyle, man. And she said she said nobody was more real in that film, aside from some of the extras, was but none other than Harold and Justin, or Casper and Harold. Those guys lived it. And like I said, the young kid that was smoking the cigarettes in the apartment, and the one that was in the middle smoking that weed in that party, that his name was Javier Mendez. Javier Nunez, and he became a professional skateboarder. But he still lives in New York, and he said it's just two of the guys that got me into that film are already gone. And I try to live up I try to always remember them. But these guys, and he even said guys that saw that movie and remembered him being the youngest kid smoking, said, "Hey, bro," he said that people will come up to say, "Hey, man, you saved my life. I saw your movie, and you gave me inspiration." And he was like, "Okay, like he's also a part of that street life, man." And people like Harold and Justin weren't good at taking. They weren't very used to taking a lot of what do you call it? Taking compliments and positivity. They were always used to negative. And even Justin, before we wrap up, Justin, he was born in the UK, bro. And he just transplanted to New
Yeah,
York. Yeah.
I was like, what the?
So
Someone European, but he was spitting out, like Americana, speech like nobody's business. But I've always noticed that Europeans, especially in England, they can do a good American accent when they have to.
well, I mean, no, but he came back as a little boy, man. He grew up most in New York. But
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
I grew up most in New York. But yeah, man, that's all I can add, man. And like I said, Zoe Zadini, Rosario Dawson, even though she wasn't in the film, I mean, she was all of everybody, all the actual actors, did great. Leo Fitzpatrick, uh, he got a lot of shit for that film, man. He got a lot of shit just for that character, bro. He got a lot of negative like publicity on it, and he only did a few other films. And he was on The Wire. I remember, if you guys remember The Wire back on HBO, back in like the 2000s. And but I mean, Zoe I mean, Rosario is the one that's really hit it off, bro. Zoe did, yeah, she won an award and stuff like that, but she stayed more like kind of underground. But
Hmm.
very prestigious though, her and Rosario Dawson, man. And then of course, Harmony did he still made a few movies and stuff like that, and but like a lot of those guys, man, are still around. A lot of the ones that were in the film are still around. They're just our age, but
Yep.
they're still around, man. But I mean, still in New York. Zoe Zadini still lives in New York. She's still in New York. So, but I mean, yeah, man. I mean, just to give my last thoughts on the film, man. It was nostalgia, man, and like he said, watching it as as an adult now, like so many different changes of point of view, like being older, and but it's still a lot of stuff I remember. Like, man, I remember all of that shit, man. Like, I was a kid, just like I resonated with it so much because I grew up. I was a part of that skater culture, and it's always nostalgia, man. I can always visit that movie. While I visit it, will I visit it? Anytime soon? No, it's gonna be a while, but I mean, yeah, man. I just really, revisiting it was an eye opener. But nostalgia wise, oh yeah, dude, nostalgia is total pure nostalgia for me, man. And it's still a film that resonates with me, especially. And people call it a skater. People call it a movie, a skateboard movie without even skateboarding being the primary you know primary uh what's called primary reason for it being a skateboard movie. You know what I'm saying? And I'll always enjoy it, man. And I just say I just give it an eight. I give it an eight just because of nostalgia. I'll just give it an eight. Um, but like I had a crush on Zoe for a long, long time, and Rosario for a long time when I first saw this film. But I mean, hey, man, like it's a good nostalgic film, and that's why when we did mid '90s, the reason why I did mid '90s first was because it reminded me so much of
It was
Zoe.
a tip of the iceberg with that.
Yes, exactly. And that's why we finally did this thing. And that's why we finally did Kids, which was the main source of the inspiration for us doing mid '90s a few months ago. So there's my take on it, man. And God rest their souls, man. Justin Pierce, and Harold Hunter, and everybody who was on that. I'm glad they're doing good, man. I mean, it does have a message and a few messages to me, and then HIV, drugs at a young age. Don't try not to do that, but and then just the East Coast flavor, the East Coast style that I really enjoyed, man. And, yeah, that's my take, man. So, D, what's your last few thoughts on the film, man, before we wrap it up?
Well, you know, I gave it an 8 as well, but before it was like a 7.5, but because of its originality, and the risk that Harmony Korine and Larry Clark took, solid 8. It was disturbing to watch this now,
Yeah,
um, um, as an adult, but being a kid watching it, um, it was just like wow, it's just like a documentary, you know.
yeah,
Hmm.
It was very put together. It was really put together. I love the even the acting wasn't as good, but these are uh, these individuals' first time acting, and I think they did their part. And sometimes you want to see that. You don't want to see like the main like famous star, in the camera, right, or on film, and you want to see something else. You want to see another individual, on their take
yeah,
on it, and their take is, very raw and real. Like you said, it seemed like a documentary. You know, but yeah, I love this movie because of that, um, and the what it has to tell you. Like you just got to be careful. If you have kids, be a parent. You know, um, I'm not saying sit down and watch this movie with them, but you could grab all the information that this film is trying to give to you, which is safe sex, not be aware of drug use, the violence, the lack of guidance, all this stuff. Just give your kids some attention and some guidance, and hopefully they pick the right path.
yeah.
Go ahead,
Also,
Jedi.
Jedi.
Well, like I say, this is my first viewing of it, and you already got my expression. You already got my reaction to what I expressed because I just like, wow, I mean, it's as you say, this is more like a documentary style of storytelling and filmmaking. And honestly, I'm probably going to give a higher rating than you guys because not because of the lifestyle and everything, but just a genuine knowing that they were bringing the realness of what they're portraying, which is typical New York teenagers growing up in a environment where that is how they live. That's how they're spoke. That's how they interact with one another, and it's kind of interesting knowing that even now, as me, about to turn 56, it's brought to my mind knowing that each timeline or each standard culture time for teenagers is always different, but it's always the same. So it makes me realize that you know you can't judge them because of what they're doing. You just gotta realize, like, hey, you were a teenager too, so you're no different. You probably spoke the lingo, but you were something different of whatever particular product environment you were. Whether it be the '70s, the '60s, or the '80s. So um, for me, I'm gonna give it a nine. Believe it or not. I'm
Wow.
gonna give it that because I think that's
Yeah.
how impactful this film really is. It's not something, and I'll tell anyone right now, it's not for the faint of heart. This is not for them. This is like I say, I've seen many films that just just go past fucking, and it's like, okay, there it is. You're like, this is one of those films, and it's kind of invigorating to know that they don't hold back in terms of what they're going to express when you see. And I'm glad that they do because it lets me know, like, yeah, this is what's going on, but this is exactly what you see in everyday life during that time. So at least they were being honest and real with what they were doing. So that's what my whole take on it was.
Damn, I gotta clap. I gotta clap to that, bro. Freaking fucking giving it a nine, bro. I, I knew you weren't gonna. I knew you weren't gonna like it in a way where it's or enjoy it. I knew you weren't
That's
gonna
what I was
enjoy
saying.
it.
I enjoy
I
it, but
knew, yeah,
it
yeah.
was,
I knew you weren't gonna enjoy it, but that kind of, you know, I appreciate that because you appreciate the real, raw, savage, like aspect of it, and that's the reason why I pitched it to you. And then, like I said, that's why when I said, like, if you want anything more raw and real, or not just raw and real because it's something that I say, but something that's so freaking true to the source of 90s life. That's why I wanted you to watch it. And bro, like I thank you, man, and it's also because, like I said, like like D said, like these guys, Larry, Larry and Harmony, bro, they took a risk,
yeah,
and
they really did.
nobody does that, bro. Nobody does that anymore.
Yeah,
And
because they're afraid to get what you call cancel culture, in a sense.
yeah,
That's why.
and in some ways, this dude, like I said, if you, dude, honestly, they nobody would recommend a modern day parent would never see this movie knowing just what it's in it now, dude. They would totally try to cancel it.
You
They would
can't do this
totally,
film now. Let's
huh?
get that straight. You can't do this film now.
No, no,
Let's
No,
get that straight.
no, no,
No.
that's true.
no, dude. It films like this will never ever be made ever again, bro.
No.
Ever. Like it is, it's life, the heart, the
Mhm.
era, the nostalgic feelings, and the dangerous aspect of 90s, which is HIV, underage drinking, underage drug use, all of that. Maybe the fact of poverty and the children coming from broken homes. So this is why this film hits me, but it doesn't hit me in the way it used to back then, where I used to be like, oh yeah, man, fuck movies and shit. You know what I'm saying? Fucking fuck that nigga. You don't like the way you don't like my opinion. No, dude. Now it's like being being an adult now, dude. If I had kids, bro, if I had kids, I would never, ever show them this movie. I would never show them this movie, dude. Like
And
I
I
like
will, and I
what
will add this. I will add to this. I will add to what you're saying. That the fact that I'm kind of because, like I say, when you say that this wouldn't be made today, this is true. Which is why I say I'm kind of glad it did get made because it is a reflection of that moment in time. And like I say, not a lot of people will know this unless they watch it. You know, I mean, like I say, there have been many films before that show a real grounding of what teenagers have to deal with. And you know, I mean, and true enough, you know, you had films back in the '50s, you know, and some of the '60s. They were more, you know, not so much generic, but it was like they being like kind of close kid, knowing that they didn't go beyond because they had rules at the time. But here, you know, it's like, oh no, we're going full force with this. You know,
Mhm.
so it's a good thing that it did get made because if you try to do it now, oh my God, people are gonna be like, oh, what the fuck, you know, it's like this. You actually doing it's like to me, it was necessary. It's necessary because it gives you an insight of why kids in that period were like that, and it just reflects on what other kids might have went through in teens, like as far as teens in different decades of the century. So it's like, yeah, I feel like it was necessary for this one to be around today.
yeah, man. Well, fellas, man, like this one was definitely a film to talk about, man. And heading into consensus number six, D from Fanatic. Me and D started this back in 2021, bro. We're at number six already, and I had to add this film, man, because this is drama, bro. This is straight drama. Even though there wasn't the best actors, it has a message. Even though the message wasn't implemented very well through a guy like Tully or a newcomer like Leo Fitzpatrick, but the message came through. That's what matters. The people who watched it understood it, and people like me and Walt who grew up in the ghetto, but did not become product products of it, learn now that how disturbing it is, how disturbing it was, and feeling like me having to take a fucking nice long ass shower after watching it. uh, bro, gotta
It's like
scrub,
brush it off there,
gotta
brush it
scrub,
off.
gotta scrub and stuff. Yeah, yeah, there you go, bro. Like,
Like,
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, bro. But no, man. But it's no. But anyways, guys, it's we had to do it, man. And I'm glad consensus has come already to number six. So we got 30 mil coming, and I want to get deeper into more films like this. And I had to put this one. And when I thought about it, I had to put this one on. We had to talk about it. And my brother, Jedi, You got anything coming soon, man? You got anything coming
yes,
up?
I do. Like I say, tomorrow I got the something coming up, which is my special Jedi Grand Veil Productions presentation. It's a little like I say, it's something that I just came up out of the blue, and since it's my birthday tomorrow, it's going to be something where it's like when you watch it, you'll see like, whoa, this is what we're doing here, you know, and it's my own something of mine that I kind of created a while ago, and I'm kind of proud with it, you know. But you, like I say, anyone who's watching, you would have to watch it and see what it is. And next Friday will be. It's not exactly turn, but it's Friday. Next Friday, I'm going to be discussing my 10th anniversary of my trip to G Fest because G Fest 10 years ago changed me forever, and this is the reason why I'm this lovable asshole now. You know, as I like to say. But yeah, that I got that coming up, and then I can say after that, the next following week is G Fest bound, baby, Chicago, Windy City. That's where I'm heading to. Yeah.
Oh, and I know Deep Throat Fanatic, you got something in the works, man. You wanna elaborate and let us know on that, man?
Nope, not right now.
Not right now.
Not right now. But
Well, hopefully
I just
soon.
wanted to just advance happy birthday to you, Jedi Granville. Um, everything, all the blessings that you're you're getting. It's truly deserved, man. You're a hard worker. Keep doing what you're doing, and man, I love you, bro. And I always love hearing your perspective on things when it comes to news. Not just that, just life in general. Also with Daniel, man, I love hearing his perspective on these films that we watch because I only have mine, right? But
Yeah.
it's awesome to hear both of yours because there's things I learn from you guys and things I don't see from my eyes, and
Mhm.
I just want to thank you for that. And
Yeah.
thank you for always
Thank
including me. You know, happy birthday to you, man. Happy 31st birthday. You know,
Yep.
because that's what
Thank
you
you. I
look
mean,
like, man. You look like 31st, man. God bless you. My blessings come. I love you. You know, keep doing
appreciate
your
it.
thing, brother. Warrior mentality as always, right?
That's it. It's always
For your birthday, come on, let's do the Herald,
it's
guys.
like
Go ahead. Yeah, 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 yeah,
No, 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 what I'm saying.
yeah.
there's
And rest in peace.
Yes, rest in peace, Harold Hunter. Rest in peace, Justin.
that's it.
Just thank you for your
Yeah, man, and
contribution. Thank you.
yeah, man. Thank you for that, and like also just D. Like I want to, D just took the words right out of my mouth, man. Walter, happy early birthday, brother. It's already going on since me and you've been talking since 2019, bro. So
Dang.
it's and I'm and for your contribution to the Sci-Fi Society, to the consensus, to the new True Savage gaming group, man, and bro, like you're an inspiration, like just like he is, bro. You're an inspiration, man. You guys have helped keep me level. You guys helped me keep the love of films going. You guys also helped me with trying to branch out into different types of films and not just stick to one dimensional and like you guys are a part of my life for a reason, bro. And it wouldn't be no Sci-Fi Society or no Consensus Crew if it wasn't for you two, man. And I gotta give you guys you're just you too, man. And like I said, bro, happy birthday and to many more, bro. And I'm here for you, man. I may be falling apart, and I may be, fucking not the same, Daniel Savage I used to be, bro. But
But you can still do this, you know.
oh yeah, I do all day, bro. But I only do it in front of the women, bro.
Yeah,
In
I know.
front of the women, but I know, but yeah, guys. But as far as that, man, thank you guys for always being a part and contributing to the Consensus Crew video discussion now. And what I got coming up, man, is nothing. Um, I'm taking all of July off, man. I just started a new medication. I got to get back to the physical. It'll probably be maybe towards the end of maybe close end of July or August if we're gonna try to do something, try to do another video discussion. But I need a break, man. I need to refocus on my physical well-being, and I'm gonna start physical therapy on Monday. So, I mean, I'll expect some video game, like people who watch, expect some video game content coming out. I just recently released Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat playthrough, and Pit Fighter. You guys remember Pit Fighter from the freaking 90s, the arcade, man?
No,
So
Yeah,
I don't
dude,
know.
it's like, yeah, I'll share the link, man. But I'm just getting more into I'm just doing a lot more retro, and I just released it was a replay for the full battle for Okami HD at Kamiya Materasu, and got that finally got that uploaded, man. But it mostly just gameplay, man, throughout July. But as far as video discussions, I need a break, man, and I need to get back to my physical. I need to get back to walking, riding my bike, doing stuff because I haven't done nothing all this month, man. All this month, I haven't done nothing, and I need to get ready for this new physical therapy that they're gonna do, and then just some other stuff that I gotta get taken care of, man. And battling this fibromyalgia, man, is a bitch, but I got you guys, and I have to dig deep back into my warrior mentality, man, my warrior spirit, and that's all that I've got coming up, man. But as far as that, everybody who was watching, man, like to thank you guys for watching, and Man, you heard it from me, Film Fanatic, and from Jedi Granville, and of course Daniel True Savage. And yeah, man, kids, what a now to me an educational film, and I'm glad I had my brothers on here to talk, talk about it with me, man. And like I said, man, we got more content coming soon in the future. I won't name anything right now because I want to try to keep the video short because if it goes any longer, I won't be able to put it up to 1080p. But everyone who was watching, thank you, and we are Consensus Crew. Also representing the Sci-Fi Society. I am True Savage, Daniel, always keeping it raw, always keeping it real. D Film Fanatic, aka Delicious, and we got Jedi Granville, aka Walter Ross, aka Sexual Chocolate, aka Big Sexy, and everybody else. Remember, we are Sci-Fi Society, True Savage, and Consensus Crew, and we all hope you have a great weekend, and we are out of here.
By my brother Jedi Granville, aka Walter Ross, aka Sexual Chocolate. We just do this because we love talking about films like this, like E.T. the Extraterrestrial, which this film literally reawakened something dormant within me. And after watching it, especially after 20 years, like it literally had such an emotional impact and brought back such deep feelings of nostalgia.
The Film
The myth,
Fanatic.
the legend.
Well,
Saw it on VHS later on.
oh,
And being
yep.
a huge fan of Bruce Lee, of course I'm gonna be a fan of his son. And I was just waiting for him to, jump on that stardom.
The legendary Sifu Bruce Lee for the first time on my channel.
Yeah, everything that this individual does, man, is just iconic. What he um, created, is Jeet Kune Do.
I didn't originally see his films until like the late 80s. Bruce Lee was so iconic even after his untimely, passing. The first True Savage video discussion volume 1.
I used to have a lot more, but all the original Nintendo cartridges I kind of sold it.